Hello and happy Friday. It is September 5th, 2025. I am Bob Mata. I am the host of Defense Diaries, and I am joined once again by my beautiful and brilliant co-host, Allie. What's up, girl?
Hey, babe. Hey, all.
So after we had a bit of a stumble, a little bit of in football terminology, a false start yesterday with our Austin Drummond coverage, which I pulled off. If you were looking for it, I'm like, I don't want people going into that thing and being like, yo, where's the hearing? Half hour in. So
big tease.
Yeah, huge tease. So I thought it'd be best if I just pulled it off. So we're starting anew. It's fresh. Slate, wiped clean. We are starting right from where we were going to start yesterday. So how you feeling with Donna? Donna's now convicted. How you feeling, Bae? How's it sitting with you?
You're still talking about Donna?
I mean, you woke up saying, I don't know if she did it.
It's just
I think she might be innocent.
No, I said, is it possible? That's what I said. Is it possible?
And I said no.
Right. And it's just I said it yesterday. It's just still it's like my mind struggling to just believe that like Harvey and Donna or any full grown adults who have gone through like their entire life and they're not like shitbirds like Charlie are like, you know what? It's a really good idea. I mean, it seems like our only option. Gonna have to murder the guy.
I mean, look, like that's what I was saying about Harvey. Like Harvey was the voice of reason. Because to me,
Donna's guilty, Harvey's guilty.
Maybe.
He was talking in code outside too.
That's after the fact,
shit
though.
In front. But why are you talking in code after the fact? Why are you?
Because I think he knew about it after the fact when the shit started to go down.
Oh, he knew that Charlie hired a hitman.
I think
not that Charlie was extorted.
Right. I think after the fact. It came to light.
Well, then
when the shit started, like in 2016, when the bump happens, shit starts getting weird.
So Harvey is like,
well, my concept.
Donna puts the money in the.
Right. Well, Harvey, I would have thought, since he was the guy who really kind of built the family empire, as it were.
Present. Hey, we're here to talk about Drummond.
We're gonna get to Drummond. It's okay to have a couple of thoughts because we got off the live immediately, after the verdict. We didn't really get to stretch it out. Didn't get to chat about it. I mean, look, to me, I think Donna's she didn't have to get her fucking hands dirty. Charlie did all the shit. That's where I'm at with this. She's like, I'm just gonna pay the money, and then something's gonna happen. It's like, in terms of her rationale, But I mean, I don't know. It's a crazy fucking case, man. My thing is the whole Wendy conundrum. I just don't. I don't know if you saw. I think I showed it to you, but Georgia left it kind of open. She said the exact same thing after Charlie's trial. And when the reporters were like, who's next? And she said, stay tuned. So when some reporter last night asked, it's like, so what about Wendy? And she said, you said the bad word. You said the W word. And the reporter's like, what, Wendy? She's like, yeah, like, I don't want to answer any questions about Wendy. He's like, well, and he said the thing about last trial after Charlie's, you told us to stay tuned. Should we stay tuned? And she said, she kind of chuckled. She's like, you can stay tuned. So it was like, it was, I don't know if it was telling, it sure gave the folks out there that are like, get that bitch. It gave them like some hope. I made a long Twitter post, which I know you read. It's like that the part that I was so enamored with Georgia in terms of that little presser that she did was that part where she's acknowledging like what this is like for the two boys, Ben and Lincoln, like their two sons who are now like 14 and 15 respectively, who have had their entire fucking family destroyed because of this bullshit that the Adelson side pulled, and it's like, you don't get to sit here and say, oh, well, fuck Donna. She's a horrible person, blah, 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 blah. That may be the fact, but I assure you there was a long period of time when these kids were young that's not how they viewed their grandmother. They loved their grandmother. She was very sweet to them. And same with their uncle. So like you don't get to decide for the kids who they can say fuck off to and how it's going to make them feel or what it's done to them. It's not your place. And I'm
I mean,
talking
just the mere fact that you're possibly your mother, but your grandmother and your uncle,
your
now
whole family.
convicted, murdered your father.
Right. I mean, can you like for 1 second try to,
No.
instead of running with pitchforks and torches and shit, like trying to like just think about the kids for a second. Like, let's do what Donna and Charlie and maybe Wendy and maybe Harvey did not do, which is think about the kids. So that's it. All right, rant over. All right, Austin Drummond, this case has me mesmerized. I don't know what to think of it. It seemed open and shut, right?
I
Shooting.
mean, I didn't think it seemed open and shut ever from anything because there was never anything released. I couldn't understand why the rest of the world, and I'm not on social media a lot. I wasn't following anything. I was just like, what's this thing people are talking about? And where's the freaking evidence? Like, why are they saying this guy just because he ran and just because he has a criminal history is the murderer? And so I was just from that before he even went off and spoke to the press, and we'll get to that. Like, somebody tell me what's going on. Why is this something that the whole world seems to think this is the guy? This is the guy. And again, I'm not saying he's not the guy. I just didn't hear anything yet, but we're about to hear it today when we get to it. We'll
So why don't you give a little bit of background for those who may not be familiar with the case? Do you have that? I mean, if you've read the description, I put a very, very thorough description together of the case, the background of the case, but do you have like a little synopsis that you can give the folks in case they don't know what it's about?
I mean, I just like looking at my tweets is helping me. So, he's charged with the murder of James Wilson, 21, Adrianna Williams, 20, along with Williams's mother, Courtney Rose, and her brother, who was 38, and her brother, Jaden Williams, who was 15 years old. He's also charged with, it's a kidnapping charge. I can't recall how they, if it's like abduction or what verbiage they use in Tennessee. It's a Tennessee case for the charge. But so this whole family was shot in the head at a remote location, and the baby was taken from that location and driven 40 miles away, horn honking to make sure someone comes out and rescues the baby, make sure they know the baby is there. Which I've always thought, well, that does seem like it's someone who knows the family, which Austin Drummond has a relationship with this family. They considered him a part of their family. And his girlfriend is a correction officer at the prison that he was imprisoned in for an armed robbery that occurred when he was 16 years old. He claims it was with a BB gun and he got $44. doesn't matter. You rob someone with a real gun, you rob someone with a fake gun, it is still the same offense. You get $1 million, you get $44, it is still the same offense.
And so this took place July 29th of 2025, correct?
Yes, and he got out, I think it was November of 2024 when he got released from prison, and he had picked up two sets of new charges while in prison. One was possession of a firearm and drug-related offenses, and the second was a attempted murder for a fight that occurred in the prison. So what we started with yesterday, which doesn't exist, so only those of you that were here know it exists, so we're going to have to do it again, is that, and this is where Bob got mesmerized.
Mesmerized.
Is Austin Drummond reached out to a reporter asserting his innocence. So
yeah, I was like, what? I was like, holy shit. Because I don't know if I heard it first or if you heard it first. I'm like, did you hear this fucking thing? You're like, what fucking thing? I'm like, the fucking thing. You're like, what fucking thing? I'm like, the fucking thing. I'm like, this recording of Austin Drummond where he's claiming that he was a Fed informant, and it's like the whole fucking onion's got to be peeled now. It's crazy, So like from there, like Allie, it got you sucked in with a quickness. Like you're like, what?
Yeah, I read all the dockets, and I'm going to get into what I found interesting after this report. I think this is a shortened version of the report. It's the same version we played yesterday, but
hey,
I know
I'm going to
more.
start doing this early and often because it seems like we're stagnating in terms of our growth. Please, for the love of God, it's free. Like, share, subscribe. If you really love our content, if you love hanging with us, if you love what we do, consider becoming a member. Please, we love our members. We're so fun. We're doing a members only Saturday night. We lied to the people last week. Really, you lied to the people last week and told them
Saturday night is tomorrow night.
Oh, we can't. Jill's birthday.
Yeah.
Sunday. The Bears play Monday night. I have an off day. Sunday. Let's do a
Sunday fun day.
Sunday fun day.
Never miss a Sunday show.
Never miss a Sunday show, especially if you're a fish fan. So yeah, please like, share, subscribe. It really helps us grow the show. It helps tell YouTube, hey, these two don't suck. Hey, they have some pretty interesting content. Hey, YouTube, put them in the algo, drop them in other people's feeds where they wouldn't otherwise do that. And then people have no idea who we are. So it's free and we really appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. So here's a local news report after Austin Drummond calls a reporter from jail.
I'm not guilty of what they charged me with.
He is accused of murdering 4 people, but in an exclusive interview, Austin Drummond says he's innocent. Good evening. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. Drummond spoke to News Channel 5 from jail, saying he did not commit the crimes that he is charged with. Those crimes, the shocking murders of 4 family members, Adrianna Williams, James Wilson, Cortney Rose, and Braydon Williams. They were all found dead in Lake County last month. Drummond was named as the suspect and caught about a week later in Jackson.
As Nick Barris tells us, Drummond claims to have been working as a confidential informant for law enforcement.
Austin Drummond is locked up without bond in the Obion County Jail. He's charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. A source gave him my cell phone number, and he called us to talk about his case.
I'm innocent of what I'm charged with, yes, sir. I'm not an innocent man, but I'm not guilty of what they charged me with.
Of course, you would expect a man potentially facing the death penalty to say that.
I offered to take a polygraph.
The 28-year-old Drummond admits to a long criminal record dating back to his teenage years and was a one-time member of the Vice Lords gang. But he says he did not kill Adrianna Williams, Braydon Williams, Matthew James Wilson, or Cortney.
Wow. I think that he did say that while in prison, he, that's what that he associated with the Vice Lord gangs. I think.
Because that longer recording, wherever the hell that came from, I think
And
he
we're
got
gonna
into
get
a
into
little.
we're gonna get into that after this. So
Okay. All right.
I could play it.
What?
He rose.
The longer recording.
Is this plucked from that? That's what I wasn't sure.
I didn't hear these statements in that.
Right, he says different shit,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. I think they're two different things, but
All right.
I
Well,
was just starting to think that second thing was AI because it's like
it had a lot of details.
I
Well, we're
know,
not.
but
The
it was
people
like
don't know what we're talking about, babe.
all
You
right,
can't.
go ahead.
Go ahead. All right.
Not kill Adrianna and was a one-time member of the Vice Lords gang. But he says he did not kill Adrianna Williams, Braydon Williams, Matthew James Wilson, or Cortney Rose, whose bodies were all found in Lake County on July 29th.
I had no reason to hurt these people. They were my girlfriend's family who had became my family. I took Adrianna to the hospital to have her baby. I helped teach Braydon to drive. Matthew was like a little brother to me, man.
Drummond was on the run for several days after the murders. Locals in Northwest Tennessee feared a killer was on the loose, and it made national headlines. If Drummond didn't murder the 4 victims, then why did he run?
I did not handle the situation right by running, but I was afraid.
And here's why. Drummond says after another arrest earlier this year, he cut a deal with the Lake County District Attorney, FBI, and ATF to work as a confidential informant.
During my time working for them, I helped uncover drug dealers selling multiple kilos at a time of cocaine, also drug traffickers delivering pounds of meth. We identified dirty law enforcement and correctional personnel and tapped Vice Lord leadership phones.
Drummond says he learned that his cover had been blown the day of the killings, and that is why he ran.
I was afraid because I knew bad things happened. And I was afraid that because I was an informant, things would go wrong. Things would happen to me.
We did ask the district attorney about Drummond's claim that he was working as a confidential informant. The DA said he could not comment at this time. We should learn much more about the case against Drummond at a preliminary hearing that's scheduled for early September. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
Drummond was also asked, if not him, then who killed the 4 victims? We also wanted to know about Adrianna's baby girl who was left outside a house in neighboring Dyer County. She was in her car seat and was not hurt. He declined to answer either of those questions.
Get your mind racing. You know? So many possibilities.
Well, I'm gonna jump from there, but you have the link that you've got to pull that up from your email because I tried to access it and can't.
What? That longer recording?
The link that we got yesterday. So
Oh.
here's the thing. After this, because in one of the recordings he said he started this in April, that's when he started working with law enforcement. So I went and I looked at the docket. I looked at what he has been charged with, the new cases that he picked up in prison, and why it took so long for them to get charged. One of the charges, I think the drug charge, was from 2023, July of 2023, and he got charged with it November of 2023. Okay, that's not too far. The other was August of 2023, the attempted murder, and he did not get charged with it until November of 2024. So a full year plus later. So looking at the docket, it was continued, it was up about every month or so, but neither of the cases, they were both up in April of 2025, and then nothing ever again until he got arrested on these new charges. So that does support an assertion that he was working with law enforcement. Now, the other thing that I just doesn't reconcile with me is there is this other recording that was on a radio station in Tennessee, so a legitimate source, and the voice sounded the same and the details were very accurate that were in them. But in the recording we just watched, he claimed, I am innocent of these charges. I had no reason to kill these people. They were family to me. In the longer recording, he claims that they were involved in the drug distribution within the prisons and somehow contraband in the prisons, and that he was informing on them. So I'm like, all right, so now is this setting himself up for a self-defense claim? I'm like, what is happening here? Like, what is going on? So what we have that happened yesterday was a preliminary hearing. A preliminary hearing is, instead of going to a grand jury where you've all heard you can indict a ham sandwich, the same burden applies. They have to establish reasonable belief that a crime was committed, which obviously there's no doubt to that here, but that this is the person who committed it. It is still a very low burden, and almost always, goes through with a probable cause is almost always found. But you're hearing the evidence in court. The defense attorney is cross-examining the police officers. So you're getting a lot more information, because prior to this preliminary hearing, we had nothing. The affidavit supporting the complaint just said literally that he committed the offense of murders, described who was murdered and where they were found, committed the offense of, as I said, it's either abduction, kidnapping, whatever verbiage they use for their statutory scheme, about the kid being taken. But the thing about the child being taken is the child, it's like, I don't know how that can be an abduction or kidnapping when you can't take a child without their parents knowing, even to bring them somewhere else. But this is a situation where, Bob must have swiped left. The parents were dead and the child was brought to safety. He's back.
It's a 2-finger up swipe on the Mac. It like just fucking kills your, like, it ends you.
So
All
when
right,
I
got that
originally,
pulled up. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just want to make sure I have everything set up for you. So we're going to use this Fox 13. I guess I'm assuming they were the pool camera, but
they
did you think
were the
you were
pool
going to
camera.
get something better than this?
Right, but that pool camera link is a special link. Like, I couldn't find it directly. So
Okay,
if you've got it up, that's good.
I got it.
So after I looked into all of this, I was thinking, who's to say that, yes, he was there. Austin Drummond was there, and whatever happened, he rescued the baby, but he didn't murder the people. Or maybe he did, and like I said, this other recording where he's saying that he was informing on them. Well, that definitely is not like, we're just family and we have no reason to kill each other kind of thing. That's like, wait, what? So, like I said, I started thinking, is he laying the framework for self-defense? Were there other people there? Were they all 5 of them going to be victims of somebody else, and he got away with the baby? Or he could be the guy. I'm not, I'm definitely not making an assertion one way or the other. It just sounded to me like, we know nothing. Why is the public jumping to conclusions to just believe the police? And now with the preliminary hearing, we're finally going to hear at least the version of facts, the narrative that the police have, the evidence they have to support it. I have no doubt that they have evidence that he was at the in the area, where the crime occurred. But because we
All right,
did hear,
so that you ready for me to pull it up?
yeah.
There's a couple of pretty decent questions that I want to get to. Why would he call a rando TV station? Well, if you look at it from the perspective, if we are to believe, if you elect to believe that he is in fact an asset, a federal asset, and he's been ratting on people in this community that he lives in this,
Including dirty police and correction officers.
which was the prison that he was in. And if he's like flame throwing all kinds of people, whether it be the drug dealers, the drug smugglers, the CEOs, whoever, and if you believe that, and he feels it's the only way that he can get out this fact before the steamroller comes and just flattens him. I mean, to be honest with you, we had Garcia do that early on in our representation. Like, fucking guy calls a news station. I'm like, what are you doing? Dude, are you like insane? Bad question. But I'm like, I can see a world in which he would do that. If you feel like, especially if it's true. And like now he's gagged. Now his lawyer's gagged. He's not going to be able to talk to anybody. They've gagged him up. Like he wanted to get that out to the world, and he kept in the longer version that Allie and I are talking about. He keeps asking people to please fact check what I'm saying. Please fact check what I'm saying. He says it over and over and over again. So I think that would be the answer, Racer Girl, to getting that out. And then Sarah asks, Sarah, be creative. Why go on the lam then? It's born out of the same thing. If he's a rat and he claims that he was made on the day that the shooting went down, like they made him. Who they is unknown. But if you're a fucking rat, snitches get stitches, or you get killed.
And we don't know, right? Like we're just putting out possibilities, like we don't know, were there other people there and he was an intended victim of this crime, but again, it could be that he's laying the groundwork for a self-defense claim, but it just doesn't really jive with someone saying, I am innocent of these charges. I had no reason to commit this offense. And on the other hand, saying that you're informing on these very people. But it's Sarah's question on the other version of this newscast that we played yesterday, and the one that I had seen before. The newscaster says that when they're talking to each other, well, why didn't he just call the police if he wasn't involved and he's working with law enforcement? And I was like, I'm not saying it's true, but let's just in a vacuum accept it as true for the purposes of like a whatchamacallit discussion. My brain's not working. Whatever, for the purposes of debate. You're
I
not
was just gonna let you sit there and struggle, boss.
what the fuck's he doing?
What the fuck's this motherfucker doing?
Supposed to help me with the
motherfucker.
of them. That's what he's there for. He's my wordsmith.
I'm the word pimp.
Yeah, the word pimp. He doesn't like to do things on demand. I've never met a more talented man who just says that. And this has been since like law school, when his big thing was he'd make sounds, like really awesome animal sounds. And then I'd be like, babe, do the monkey. And I'm no trained monkey. Do the whatever. Get up there and sing a song. Let's do karaoke. No, I'm not going to do it on demand. But if I just leave him be, then he'll do it because.
Right. You learned. It only took you 25 years. You figured that shit out. Quick study, woman. You're a quick study.
So anyway, I'm like, why in the hell is he calling the police if he is informing on dirty police? Like, no, but it doesn't mean his story is true. It doesn't mean he wasn't involved. It's just, you got to consider all the things. And there's stuff that supports this. I found very interesting that his other cases hadn't been heard since April of 2025. I feel confident that he was doing something starting April of 2025 for his cases not to be back in court.
I think that's very, very corroborative type evidence that, especially with got an attempt murder. I mean, granted, it's in a prison still.
And why did it take them a year?
And why is he getting bond? Like if they're going to up and charge him with it for a prison fight. And Allie and I have seen the footage. I, for the life of me, cannot see if he has a knife or a shiv in his hand.
We could play that if the people want, because it's short.
It's short. Because you can't make out if he's got something in his hand. There's been like firsthand eyewitness accounts that say that they saw blood on the floor. I don't know if that's a result of somebody getting socked in the nose or if somebody got stabbed. So, I mean, from what I saw of this fight in terms of prison fights, it seemed pretty tame. Like attempt murder seemed like a bit of a stretch, but that all changes if he's got a shank in his hand. So I don't, but point being, if that particular case is out there pending, it's unusual that he was given a bond and they just didn't say, okay,
he got, hold on, sorry, I was booting this thing up.
It was a very low bond.
30,000. Oh, He got 30,000 on one and 100,000 on the other. So, wait, I've got to make this small. We'll play that for you all before we go into the.
And while you're doing that, so this is where I land with this thing. Is Allie keeps saying we have no fucking idea. We're obviously not standing here saying, oh, he's innocent, he didn't do this, I believe everything he's saying. No, what we're saying is, to me, it's one of three things. One, either he did it, and this is all bullshit. Two, he didn't do it. It was some kind of strange self-defense, and I'm not going to give any spoilers on what we hear in this preliminary hearing. And he's protecting himself from the actual people that ended up dead. Or the other thing is it's a Fed informant frame-up job. I mean, to me, all three are possible, and I'm not going to get into the Barry Seal rant that I went on last time, but I mean, if you don't think that things like that happen within the federal government, and in particular within agencies like the FBI and CIA, if you're an asset, then do a little research, because it does happen. So I'm keeping, as always, I'm keeping my mind open as to all possibilities.
Yes, me too. All right, let's go.
Action News 5 at 5.
Action News.
New details tonight about the attempted murder charge accused family killer Austin Drummond picked up before his release from prison last year. All thanks to video captured inside lockup. Welcome to Action News 5 at 5 this evening. I'm Joyce Peterson.
I'm Joy Redmond. Action News 5's Imani Williams live in studio with what she's learned. Imani.
Austin Drummond's bond on that attempted murder charge was revoked just yesterday. He was behind bars for a decade at the Northwest Correctional Complex in Tiptonville. Now, during that time, he received at least 25 disciplinary infractions, allegedly joined the Vice Lords gang, and was charged with trying to kill another inmate during a fight. Now, the video you're about to watch is disturbing. Now, footage obtained by Action News 5 shows a full-on brawl inside the T-Dock Run facility. Drummond is the white man you see in the video. Now, the fight happened while Drummond was serving a 13-year sentence for aggravated robbery, a crime he committed back in 2014. This fight resulted in Drummond being charged with attempted first-degree murder and possession of a weapon in a penal facility. He never answered to those charges before being released from prison. The $130,000 bond he paid when he walked out of jail was revoked by a judge yesterday afternoon. Now, as you know, Drummond was charged with murder less than a year after his release, accused of killing a family of 4 in Lake County, Tennessee last month. Prosecutors are seeking the death penalty in that case. Live in studio, Imani Williams, Action News 5.
Right here, little miss. What do you think we're doing? This is going to get you all queued up, or clued up, as it were.
All right, so let's see if we have any other questions before we move right into the preliminary hearing. So I thought I saw some blood on the ground. I don't know, and maybe I was wrong about the
but that
firearm. Maybe it was just possession of a weapon. I've got to go back and look. No, because that was the earlier charge, was possession of a firearm, I thought. But
I'm saying, like, the blood can just come from a bloody nose. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like,
I'm just saying that for attempted murder, come on.
Right. It was weak sauce.
Prison
fight, shank fest.
And Little Miss Red Velvet, I put a lot on my ex, and my ex is Ali Law Mata, A-L-I Law Mata. I put up and you're about to get it all right now through the preliminary hearing.
Hell yeah. But Distracted Therapist said, bought tickets last year, so I had to come to CrimeCon. If you love one-sided perspective, it is the convention for you. Definitely my last one. Y'all have changed me. Oh, yeah.
Yes, we have boycotted it as well. We suggest the advocacy.
I'm not using the word boycott openly. We've elected not to go.
Right. The advocacy conference. If you're unfamiliar with that, you've got to go back and watch Bob's live last night with Eric Landing Carter.
Wow. It's like you literally just butchered his fucking name. It's Eric. Carter Landine.
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 Not landing.
Landine.
A landing strip. Landing strip. That's what you get when you go get a Brazilian. Oh, yeah, baby. Okay.
What a freak.
Wow, what a fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, it is a very it's a real law enforcement kind of prosecutor love fest, which is
Thanks,
you know, fine. It's like just have a little more balance. Like Allie and I were definitely strangers in a strange land out there. You know, but we had tons of friends there. Like I have lots of friends that go there.
Right.
Lots of podcasts. And you know, everybody was perfectly nice.
Yeah. Hannah says Bob and Allie deserve all the likes and subs. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Hannah.
Planners by Cat. What'd she get, babe?
Aw, family hug. Wait, you forgot Stephanie, babe.
Oh.
Good luck with reading Stephanie's last name.
No, just give her what she said.
Desrocher. Rocher? Stephanie Desrocher? Is it French? I don't know.
It seems French.
It sounds fucking beautiful, though. I love it. I'm sorry if I butchered it, but family hug. Yeah, you skipped way down, babe. Petite Betty coming through with 10 DD podcast memberships. Thank you, Petite Betty. You are so lovely. Thank you for helping us grow our family. Family hugs to everybody who was a benefactor of Petite Betty's incredible generosity.
Bump, which is Cody. Bump it.
Bump it.
Says, bump it. Here for this case. I'm so invested and have read everything possible about Drummond. Should be an interesting case. Yes, it should.
Yeah. Sherry Pinkham. Family hug. Love that. Love it.
Crime time crochet. Corrupt cops found out he's a rat. Framed him. He found them and baby and can't run with baby. Right? I mean, that could be what happened. We're not saying it is. So we're just saying
I'm not saying it's not
possible, right? Not saying it's not.
All right.
Allie, you look particularly stunning today. You're always beautiful, but you have a special glow about you. I think it must be the way this, bright light's hitting me.
Or it's just that you're gorgeous. One of those two things. I'm going to go
Thanks,
with
Tom's
the latter. I'm going to go with the latter. And Dom's mom, I've got only one thing to say to you. Hold on, wait. I got to find it. I
told you to stop talking to my wife. I told you to stop talking to my wife.
Hey, I just changed my audio back to automatically adjust since we might have the same.
Allison.
Oh, yeah.
We may have
the
same issue with the sound here.
The fucking lawn guys are out here. Like this is remember we did an afternoon Friday and the guys out here mowing the lawn.
Curious Liz says, really appreciate you both today. We had to take our kittens to the ER last night because he was having seizures.
No.
Unfortunately we had to let him go. I appreciate the laughs you both bring. We're very sorry to hear that.
Yeah, as pet lovers, that's devastating. We're sorry.
Yeah.
Luckily our guy's doing great.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we are lucky. It's like it's scary.
Yeah.
You love your pets desperately. They're a member of the family. And when like an Allie just tends to jump right to the worst possible, conclusion on this shit. And I'm like, I think he has a cough. I think he's got a dog cold. He's not vomiting. She goes to the vet twice,
Well, the vet freaked me out.
I know. That's what I fucking do. It's
but the first time I wasn't going to leave him. I wasn't going to leave him all day. Just go to Great America and be like, okay, I hope this thing that you're doing that I've never seen before that looks horrifying is all right. And that you don't stop breathing while we're gone.
Yeah. And this concept of they come out and they're like, oh yeah, your dog's Johnson rod is all fucked up. His flam shooter is way out of whack. And we've got to do this $1,500 procedure to fix his flam shooter. I'm like, okay, what the fuck's a flam shooter? Oh, I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. There's just a racket element. And that's not to say that we wouldn't pay all the money in the world to save our guy.
Yeah, obviously.
It's just any profession, you need to find somebody that you can trust so you're not getting fucking scammed.
Right, because it ended up he just had a cold.
Right. Thank you. Diagnosed. It's the second time I've properly diagnosed
my dog. Pull up the
I
stream
love with all my heart. Okay.
and give Renee Hudspeth
family hug.
that.
Yeah. Did you give Debbie some love? Dubs?
Thanks, Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie.
Oops.
Dom's
All right,
mom, you
so-
got your shirt, right?
She got her shirt. I think we heard about this.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so this is the preliminary hearing. We're going to do it at 1.15. If anybody,
does the sound, like the sound is a little rough in the beginning. It
gets better.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I got it. Oh, it's not giving me the 2-time boost on here. What's up with that? Is it because it's this thing? A feed?
I don't know.
I mean, there's no 2-time boost here. What the fuck?
Check to see if they sent you another email.
They didn't.
Huh.
I was looking for dude today.
Let me see if I can find it just on.
Like Court TV's was pretty good, but you can't fuck with it.
All right, I've got it. I'll do it through this one.
Okay. Because like Court TV, I'm telling you, you could not fast forward and you could not play it at a different speed. Those two things.
Okay, I've got it now. Got you.
It's better that you have control anyway.
Yeah, I do like control.
It's your baby.
Whoops.
Say, quit calling it my baby.
Why do I sound like that in your little?
I don't know. Like you always make me sound like.
Okay.
Speech. I want to take this time just to go over with everyone. We're going to have some statements and some evidence that may be entered today that may be difficult to hear, may be upsetting to hear. If at any time you feel that you cannot sit and listen to the proceedings, I would ask that you step outside. If anyone does have to step outside, that's fine. I don't mind that. If a disruption is made, then you will be removed from the courtroom. And if further disruptions are made, the court has the right to hold you in contempt of court, or the sheriff's office has the right to issue charges for disorderly conduct. I don't want to see that happen, and I don't think that we're going to have that happen. But I just have to give everybody that notice prior to this hearing starting. Mr. Goodwin, good afternoon, sir. General Hayes, good afternoon. Mr. Huffman, Mr. Mason, good afternoon. Mr. Drummond, good afternoon, sir. What are we proceeding on first? Because I know there's a motion before the court, and also we have a preliminary hearing. So how do we want to take that up? Okay. Does the state have its list of who it intends to call today during the preliminary?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
I'm just going to get us to
Anyone who has been called. The rules of evidence says that witnesses must be
sequestering the witnesses.
By the state routine to matter. I should have done that first. PR 48067, 48068, 48069, and 48071, 25 CR being those documents. Your first witness, General.
Your state calls
Officer Hussey.
I don't know if
Please come to the
KLB
stand,
was
sir.
being serious. I am bouncy vaping.
If you would, Ms. Jessica is going to place you under oath at this time.
You solemnly swear firm testimony you're about to give the truth to help you God.
Thank you, sir. And Officer Hussey, be sure if you would to speak into the microphone. We've had these things kind of messed with and fixed in a much better way, and I appreciate our IT folks for that. But just be sure to speak into the microphone clearly because we are recording. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Would you state your name, please?
Corey Hussey.
And where do you work?
I'm a park ranger with Tennessee State Park.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. I want to make sure that they didn't totally kill us here. It didn't. Sorry about that. Sorry, guys.
So, guys, when I have it boosted, the background noise is loud, at least that I'm hearing. So just let me know if you want me to take the boost off, if it's like too much background noise. I heard Hussey, but I don't know if that was his last name or not. Somebody asked, is it Hussey? I thought that's what I heard.
Could you tell me again who you work for?
I'm a park ranger for Tennessee State Park.
Okay. And how long have you had that position?
I took this position in June 28th.
June 28th.
2025.
I'm sorry.
2025.
Okay, June 28th, 2025. Do you recall if you were working on the day of July 29th of 2025?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And as a part of your job, do you routinely patrol state parks and specifically around River Lake area?
Yes.
Okay. Is that something that's just part of your duties that you do that?
Yes.
How many parks are there that you have to actually patrol daily?
One park, a little bit like State Park.
Okay. Are there individual smaller parks within the full Lake Park area?
Yes, sir. There are individual units that are all attached to it.
Okay. Is there one on Carrington Road in Lake County?
So the Carrington Road location is state land managed by TWRA. However, we operate programming and tours from an area on Carrington Road.
Okay. So it's not actually a park, right?
No, sir.
Okay. It's just an area that's owned by the state and it's actually used by the state.
Yes, sir.
Is that area actually near the Northwest Correctional Complex?
Yes, sir.
Just an estimate of how far would you say it is from that area?
Maybe a mile.
Okay. And is that here in Lake County, Tennessee?
Yes,
That area that we're talking about on Carrington Road?
yes, sir.
While you were patrolling that area on July 29, 2025, did you notice anything unusual or anything that caught your attention that day?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you tell me what that was?
So while patrolling down Carrington Road, shortly after 1 o'clock, I found 3 vehicles parked on the left side of Carrington Road.
Okay. Do you know what type of vehicles they were?
One was a black Dodge Charger, one was a Chevrolet Traverse, and the other was a Nissan Rogue.
Okay. Did you see anyone out there, any individuals standing around the vehicles or inside the vehicles?
I did not see them.
What'd you do after you noticed the vehicles? Did you stop, get out? Did you do anything?
I proceeded past the vehicles when I was making entry down Carrington Road. Then I turned around and proceeded back out from that location.
Okay. As you came back out of the location, were all the vehicles still there?
No, sir.
Okay. Which vehicle was no longer there?
The Nissan Rogue had left in the time it took me to turn around.
Okay. Did you notice anything about the Nissan Rogue that was unusual for this area?
It had a California tag.
I'm going to hand you this photograph. If you would look at that photograph. Did you recognize either one of those 2 vehicles in that photograph?
The Nissan Rogue with the California tag would be the similar make and model as what I saw.
Okay. Is that vehicle similar to the one that you saw there that day?
Yes.
When you turned around and came back, was the vehicle leaving at that point, or was it already gone?
It had already left.
Could you tell anything about if it was left hurriedly, or could you tell?
In the time it took me to turn around, it had already left from where I can see it. There's quite a bit of dust in the air. As I proceeded out on Carrington Road, there are several straightaways, and at no point in time could I see the vehicle would indicate it left in a hurry.
Would you make that photograph with an exhibit your testimony, please?
I'm sorry. Mr. Huffman, have you no objection? Okay. Court will show that this be entered as State's Exhibit Number 1.
Officer Hussey, after you saw that vehicle leave and the other 2 vehicles that were still there, did you see anyone around at that point, around the vehicles?
No, I did not see any.
Okay. Did you make a report about that?
I wrote notes to myself, but I did not file any report at that time.
Okay. Did you later tell someone about that?
Yes, sir.
And who was that?
My manager, Doug Robertson.
What made you tell him about that incident?
Later that evening, he messaged me that there had been an incident on Carrington Road.
Okay. And at that point, what did you tell him?
I immediately called him and informed him that I had been there earlier that day and had seen those vehicles.
And was that information passed on to local law enforcement?
Yes, sir. I shortly received a call from the Sheriff's Department along with TBI and shared that knowledge with them also.
And after that, did you produce all of your findings to a report?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You stated that when you first saw the vehicles on Carrington Road, that you drove past them and then turned around.
Yes, sir.
How long did it take you to go down to the area that you were turning around and then get back toward the vehicles?
Only a few minutes, less than 5 minutes, probably 2 to 3 minutes.
2 to 3 minutes. Okay. Did you notice anything about if the vehicles were any of the doors open or anything like that?
When I was coming past the vehicles the first time, the black Dodge Charger's trunk was open.
What about when you came back?
The trunk had been closed at that time.
So you passed 3 vehicles, the trunk is up. Within 2 to 3 minutes, you come back, the trunk is closed, and the Nissan Rogue is gone.
Yes, sir.
When you get back to the road, you see no signs.
Yes, sir.
All right, then I'll pass the witness.
Yes, sir. Mr. Huffman? Yes, sir.
Were you able to see any individuals on scene? You said you drove past, you notice any individuals?
No, sir.
So when you drove back by, same thing?
No individuals at that time.
Yes, sir. Can you redirect, General? Officer Hussey, we thank you for being here, sir. You're releasing your subpoena. You can have a seat
All right,
here, or you
done
can
with
go
that
whichever
guy.
you'd like to do, sir. Thank you very much.
Doesn't establish all that much, but
Hunter Brady.
Yes, sir.
it's a time
Deputy Brady.
frame. What cars were there when?
So I wore this.
Good afternoon.
Ridiculous.
What's your name, please?
Hunter Brady,
For you.
Deputy Brady, where do you work?
Lake County Sheriff's Department.
How long have you been working there?
Been here almost a year now.
Do you remember if you were working on July 29th of 2025?
I was.
Okay. And was that an early day or was that in the evening?
We've been in the evening.
Was that the shift you typically work?
That's correct.
Did you receive any information earlier in the day about a baby being abandoned in another county?
I have not.
Had you heard anything about that?
Just on what I seen on social media.
Okay. But you had seen that earlier that day? Okay.
Babe, move the captions up.
Who the parents of the baby was that dropped off or anything about that?
It's not letting me move them like usual. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah. For whatever reason, now I'm not gonna be able to get it back. I can't go to the right. I can go this way.
That's all right. If I throw a super up, I just don't want to block the captions because
yeah, that's as far to the right it can go.
Okay.
No, I did not.
Did you receive a call later in that evening that vehicles that may have belonged to the baby's family had been located?
I did.
And who did you get that call from?
One of the family members of, I believe one of the victims involved.
Did they call you directly or did they call dispatch?
They called it dispatch.
And you were dispatched to that area?
That's correct.
Where did you go? Where was the area that you responded to?
Carrington Road.
Is Carrington Road in Lake County?
It is.
Once you got to Carrington Road, what did you do?
Well, so when I first got there, we spoke with the female caller. She advised that she found her family vehicles parked back on the Aden Road, which is halfway down, and I made my way down there and located the white Chevy Traverse and the Dodge Charger.
Was anybody else with you? Any other officers?
Yeah, there was a Tiptonville officer, Officer Morrow, and Deputy Kieran Gross.
Did y'all all arrive at about the same time?
Yeah, they were probably a minute behind me.
All right, so you proceed down Carrington Road, you find a black Charger, Dodge Charger, and a white Chevrolet Traverse vehicle.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Was anyone in the vehicles?
No, the vehicles were vacant.
Did you run any registration on the vehicles to see who they belong to?
I was approaching the vehicle as when Deputy Gross started running the registration on the black Charger.
Okay. Were you able to determine who that black Charger belonged to?
No, not at the time.
Or at a later time?
At a later time.
Do you know who that was? Do you know if it was Braydon Williams?
I never received the information from dispatch. She's the one that ran the registration.
Fair enough. So you didn't see anyone in the vehicles at the time. Did you start to look around the vehicles or look in the vehicles?
Yeah, so I first looked in the passenger side of the vehicle.
Which one?
Of the white Chevy first.
Okay. Did you notice anything when you looked inside?
Yeah, red substance that I believe it was blood at the time, all in the passenger side front and the passenger side rear.
Okay. What'd you do at that point?
I advised the other officers on scene that we had either an active situation going on or something had happened and we needed to search the area.
Okay. And so did you start to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me what happened.
I walked around the vehicle a little bit and then I noticed a shoe sitting off the trail that was directly behind the vehicle and it had some blood on it. So that was the direction we determined we needed to go. And I went off in the woods. That's when I located two bodies in the directly behind the white Chevy Traverse.
Okay. Did you, before you found the body, did you notice if there were any shell casing around the vehicles or anything like
No,
that?
not at the time. Not yet.
Okay. Did you later find that there were?
Yes. After we located two bodies, we started taking everything off and made our way back up. And that's when we located multiple shell casings around vehicles.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to the first two bodies that you located. Tell me how they were when you found them.
The male was laying on his back under his mother, and there was a tarp over the top of him.
What was the tarp? Do you know what it's made of?
Yeah,
It was like the
Mom tried to
camo
save him,
nylon
maybe?
material, the mesh material.
Were both bodies completely covered with that material?
Yeah, except for they had maybe their hand exposed on the side.
What'd you do at that point?
That's when, started communicating with other officers. Hey, we needed to secure the scene, start a crime log, and then look for and gather evidence.
Okay. Did you secure the scene at that time?
Yes.
What did you do to secure the scene?
We taped it off through the area, and contacted our supervisors so they could contact TBI.
Okay. All right. After finding those two bodies, were there ever any other bodies discovered?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
It was after Dyer County arrived. One of the Dyer County deputies noticed a shoe on the south side of the road, and I was standing with him. I noticed some red pools, what appeared to be blood, and it would just kind of shine in the woods. And you can see two more bodies under tarps.
Okay. Now, was this in the same area as the original two that you found?
No, this would have been south of them, across the gravel roadway. It was in the same area, but it was.
But how close were they to one another? Before you had the two initial bodies and then two others. How far apart were they?
Like 60 feet.
But, were those bodies covered as well?
They were.
Same type material?
Same type material, tarp.
Okay. Were you able to identify who any of them were at that time?
No, not at that time.
Did you have any other involvement with this case?
I did not.
Come on, John.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. Mr. Huffman.
Question. Deputy Brady, okay, so you were dispatched to this area, correct?
That's correct.
You remember about what time that would be?
It was roughly 8 o'clock, I believe.
Okay. Are there dispatch logs recording times?
Yeah, that's correct.
When you arrived on scene, you said there was one 50-bill officer and there was another officer on scene?
LA County Sheriff's Deputy.
Okay. When you arrived on scene and you noticed these things, you said that you secured the scene after you discovered the bodies, is that correct?
That's correct.
Hey.
First set of bodies, yes. All right. How many total officers were on
Good job,
scene?
babe. Made up a word.
When we found the first set of bodies, there was just 3. No, 4, because a trooper had showed up.
Out there in the
Right as we
world,
were
your little baby
Can you
word.
recall which officers those were?
Hayden, Trooper Hayden.
And did you write any reports or anything like that?
I did.
Were those need to be located in
Oh,
that report
we
as well?
still have the banner from last
All right.
night.
You said when you were on scene, you secured the scene by taping it off? Right. And how long after arriving on scene and discovering bodies did you do that?
It was within minutes.
All right, and contacting supervisors and they contacted TBI, is that correct?
That's correct.
Were you wearing your body worn camera at that time?
I was.
Was it active at that
Friday,
time?
Cammy.
Is that footage backed up?
Yes.
Available for discovery?
Yeah.
Were you in a marked vehicle?
I was.
Does that have a dash cam?
It does not.
The other officers, do you know if they had body cams or dash cams?
They had body cams. We don't have dash cams.
To your knowledge, were those active as well?
To my knowledge, yes.
And when you were securing the scene, were you doing any evidence collection?
We was marking evidence as we were finding it. Yeah.
Okay. Did you remove any items?
No.
Did you take any photos at that time?
I did not.
Yes, sir. Any ready to go?
No, no.
Deputy Brady, thank you, sir. You're releasing your subpoena. You are either free to go or free to stay, whichever you'd like to do, sir.
All right, so that's their second
Next
witness.
witness. I swear. Thank you, sir. Be sure to speak in the microphone.
You guys can see preliminary hearings are they're very, you get through witnesses quickly. It's not the same level of examination or cross-examination as you would have, at a trial. The defense is limited in what they're allowed to ask. And we usually use this as our opportunity to get the police to put as many details on the record, as we can, staying within the confines of what is the purpose of a preliminary hearing, just to determine whether there's a probable cause. It's a very low burden. The defense almost never puts on evidence because there's not really a point. It's not like I'm going to balance the evidence. Is what the police are saying enough to go to trial? And then if the defense wants to put up a defense, that's the time and place for that. So this is the third witness.
I mean, somebody takes a while. It lasted 2 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Detective Braydon Wheeler.
And Detective Wheeler, where do you work?
I work at the Dyer County Police Department.
And were you involved in this investigation? The case that's why we're here today?
Yes.
Okay. What were you asked to do?
I'm not sure if Special Agent Harbor reached out to us or if we reached out offering assistance, but we were trying to identify a vehicle that was of interest.
Okay. And how are you trying to do that?
So we have 2 LPR systems. There's a Motorola LPR system and the flock camera system, and we were utilizing those to try to identify a rogue, Nissan Rogue.
What is an LPR?
License plate reader.
And was there anything in particular about the Nissan Rogue that you were looking for?
Yeah, this one in question specifically had a California plate on it, which is not typical for our area.
Okay. And
Damn it, man. Damn it, man.
2 license plate readers, right?
He deserves it. That's
There's more
why.
than 2, but there are several in the state.
Those systems?
Yes.
Flock and Motorola?
Yes.
And do you have the ability to access those, right?
I do.
And can you access any other ones?
We can access other cameras that other agencies have shared with us.
Okay. And did you do that as part of this investigation?
Yes.
Who else did you access?
There's several thousand agencies that openly share their cameras with us, so we can search all of them all at once.
Okay. And aside from Dyersburg, who else did you end up searching as it relates to this investigation?
The Jackson cameras.
Okay. I'm gonna hand you up some photographs. Do you recognize that one?
I do.
Okay. And what is it?
It's a picture of the silver Nissan Rogue with the California plate.
All right. And what system did that come from? Flock or Motorola?
This is from the Flock system.
And is that in Jackson or Dyersburg?
Jackson.
And what time is that?
11:32 a.m. on the 29th of July.
So if you guys recall from the earlier witness, the first witness that went by was someone who worked at the state park. He saw 3 vehicles. One was this Nissan Rogue. Is that what it's called, babe?
I think that's what it was. A Rogue. I mean, that's definitely a type of a Nissan.
And 2 other vehicles. One of the other vehicles had their trunk up. The cop sort of circles around, comes back. He said 2 to 3 minutes later, and the Nissan Rogue was gone and the trunk was down in the other car. Now, this officer who's testifying is talking about, tracking the cars coming and going from that location, and the vehicle of interest, which was this Nissan Rogue that had a California plate. All right, let's go.
And do you make that an exhibit to your testimony today?
Yes.
No, we have to make that state exhibit too.
No objection.
No objection.
That's, we'll mark this as state exhibit 2. Ms. Jessica. Thank you.
And Officer Weir, do you recognize what's also been handed up to you now?
I do.
And do you recognize that one as well?
I do.
Okay, what is it?
It is a picture from the Motorola system in Dyersburg, capturing the vehicle going northbound Highway 78.
And that's the same road?
Babe.
License plate?
Yeah.
Yes, it's the same license plate as we saw in the first picture.
It is.
Okay. And what time of the day is that one captured?
This one was captured at 12:39 p.m. on July 20th.
And where is that one located? Where is that particular camera located at in Dyersburg?
That particular camera is located at the intersection of Lake Road and Radio Road, right in front of Love's.
Okay.
Could you repeat that again? Where it was intersection of where?
Lake Road and Radio Road.
Radio Road. Okay, I'm sorry.
Between Love's and Cricket Road.
And do you make that one exhibit to your testimony as well?
I do.
Okay.
Show this marked as State's Exhibit 3.
And then let's go back to the second picture that I actually handed up to you. You recognize that one as well?
I do.
Okay. And is it from the same camera that you just identified as the last picture?
It is from the same set of cameras facing a different direction.
Okay, which direction does that camera face?
This one is facing southbound towards the city.
All right. And what does it depict?
It shows a picture of the same Nissan Rogue California plate heading back in towards Dyersburg.
And what's the date and time on that?
This picture was taken at 2:15 p.m. on July 29th.
2025.
Correct.
You make that one exhibit to your testimony as well?
I do.
You're already asking me that. Thank you.
Okay. Absolutely. Show this marked as State's Exhibit number 4.
One more photo then.
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize that one as well?
I do.
And what system did it come from?
This is from the Flock system.
Is that in Jackson or Dyersburg?
Jackson.
And what date and time captures that one?
This picture was taken at 4:16 p.m. July 29th, 2025.
And did it pick the same road as we've seen in the previous one?
Yes, same road, same license plate.
Do you make that exhibit to your testimony as well?
I do.
And we ask to make that State's Exhibit 5. No question.
Show this marked as State's Exhibit number 5.
You can have that passed back to Officer Weir. Officer Wheeler, on that last photo, was there anything of significance that you noticed?
Yes, this is a photo taken from the front angle of the vehicle, and you can see the driver in this photo.
Okay. And can you describe the driver?
The driver appears to be a white male, has a goatee, and looks very similar to the lieutenant.
And,
all right.
Was there anything that you noticed about the vehicle in that photograph?
Yes. So the vehicle in this photograph appears to be much dirtier, especially around the wheels and the rims, than it was previously earlier in the day.
Aw, family hug. History and
Yes, sir.
So now Austin Drummond, that's the first time he's entered.
So you were asked to look
Picture.
for a Nissan Rogue California plates, correct?
I don't remember the exact parameters, but I believe we were looking for a Rogue. with California plates.
Do you have a plate number?
No, sir.
Once you located the vehicle in the photos that's presented in the evidence, did you continue looking for other Nissan Rogues with California tags?
Yes.
Did you find any more?
No.
And the only photo I believe was Exhibit 5 was the front view of the vehicles. There are other ones from the rear, is that correct?
I don't remember exactly, but I think they were all from the rear.
And then the one on Exhibit 5, which is from the front.
Yes.
That's all.
Any redirect, John?
No, Your Honor.
Take it, Wheeler. Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. You
All right,
can go
so
for the
they're-
state, whichever you choose to do, sir.
You know, they're slowly but surely getting, you know, more and more detailed with the evidence. At this point, we've got that the defendant was driving that Nissan Rogue, at least at 4 something p.m. That's the one where they could identify him as being inside the vehicle. And now we're moving on to our next witness.
You solemnly swear affirm testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth.
I do. Thanks, sir. Yes, sir.
State your name.
My name is Scott Lawson.
And do you work for the Federal Bureau of Investigation?
I do.
Okay, what is your current assignment with the FBI?
I'm a special agent on the Safe Streets Task Force.
Okay. And were you involved in the investigation as to this homicide in Lake County?
I was.
What role did you play?
Most of my experience is in the command post, assisting with cell phone analysis from tolls, working with timelines and video review to assist in the exploitation of cell phone data.
Okay. And have you received training on cell phone data?
I have.
What kind of training have you received?
I'm a member of the FBI's child abduction team, and we get yearly training with our cellular analysis survey team. That's the experts at FBI headquarters with analyzing cell phone data, geolocation data. So when we deploy with the child rapid deployment team, we are consistently working in partnership with the CAS team to analyze cell phone data and kind of feed each other back and forth to further investigations.
Okay. And is that what you did here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What specific cell phone data did you look at?
We started off our investigation by doing a deep analysis on the tolls of the victims' cellular telephones. When I say tolls, I'm speaking of the incoming and outgoing calls from the victims' phones to include records of incoming and outgoing text messages.
Okay. And when you did that, did you notice anything in particular?
Yes, we worked off a theory due to many of the victims arriving at the scene where they were murdered at various times, right? So they didn't all just appear there together. So we worked under the theory that someone must have organized a meeting or at least some type of reason to get the 4 victims to the crime scene. So as we were looking at the victims' tolls, we were looking for any unknown or unusual cell phone activity.
So I just wanted to reiterate, because I saw someone in the chat ask about the speed. I have this at 1.25. If anyone is finding it too fast, or if there's enough of you finding it too fast that it's distracting, I will put it back down to normal. And I also
think it's great.
I do
guess it's
too.
Fast? I don't think it's too fast. I'm hypersensitive to when you listen to fast shit.
Right.
Like Allie will listen to like the robot speak at like 2.5. I'm like, how can you understand a word that they're saying? It's way
Right.
too fast and it sounds like a fucking robot.
And this murder took place outdoors in an outdoor area that they kind of referred to as like sort of like a parking area out in the woods or in a wooded area. And someone also asked in the chat, how did they say how they got to this area? What sent them to the scene? They said they found the child, and then I thought they said that someone said what the vehicles of the baby's child were. I actually don't recall them saying what initially sent them to that area to look. And it might have been that they identified the parents, then they identified the vehicles of the parents, and then they got word from that the very first witness, who is a like a state park. What are those state park people called? A park ranger.
Yep.
Who had seen those vehicles earlier in the day, or at least some of them.
So, babe, do you know, was this at like a park or a forest preserve, or because it wasn't at somebody's property, right?
No, 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 no. It was they're about to get into it a little bit more, I think, but it was like in a state park that once you kind of drive down, there's like they referred to it, I think, as a parking lot sort of area. But
All right, wait, hold on. Before you do that, let me just real quick, because that's, to me, that's like a really interesting aspect of this, that it wasn't really found. You know what I'm saying? Like that it wasn't really founded, like didn't take place. It's like a meetup spot.
Right, and
It's
that's
like
what
a
this
drug
witness
deal
is
gone bad or some shit.
That's what this witness is getting to. That all of these people, they didn't show up together at the exact same time, so they went off the assumption that someone set up a meet. So they're going through their call histories. He's calling them tolls, and I think that means like charges, your calls that you're charged for, as used to be back in the day, that the only calls that showed up on a
So this is obviously Tennessee. You've got Nashville and you got Memphis here. So it's kind of on the border, closer to the western border of Tennessee. So you got Drummond captured, and he's gone for 7 days. So like this dude's like in the area. He didn't like even leave the state. Like it's like everything about this is weird. So you've got the situation where this is the county in which he's being tried, okay, where it says bodies found. And then Dyer County down here is the next county over, is where the baby's found, alive and well, in his car seat. It's a really fucking, like, do you remember No Country for Old Men? Do you remember
Yes, of
do you
course.
remember the drug deal that goes bad, like kind of in the middle of fucking nowhere, and dude happens upon it and finds the luggage filled with cash or drugs. I can't remember which one it is. And like that starts the whole chain of events. This has that vibe for me. Like that this was a drug deal gone bad. And you've got a guy who's a Fed informant that there's something off about it. There just is. Because have we gotten to the part about what he claims was taking place with the victims in terms of what they were doing? Have we gotten to that part in the testimony yet?
No, but here's this was on, here is the like this is the road, Carrington Road, where the bodies were found. So down here somewhere. So it starts out as a whatchamacallit road, and then turns into just like gravel.
Where? Do you have something up on the screen that I'm looking at?
Oh, because you're sharing, not me.
Yeah. Do you want me? I'll pull mine off.
Sorry.
Okay.
So
So this leads to the area where the bodies were found?
I believe so. I mean, this is what I found. It's like somebody on Facebook just kind of going down the road.
Yeah. It's like me
See,
with the Lucy
this is where it
Stewart
is.
shit.
I'll just kind of show you what kind of road it is, the topography, the landscape,
Yeah, wooded, like a good place to do a drug deal. Exchange drugs and cash. Off the beaten path, off the grid. Because we get a couple interesting factoids in this hearing coming up.
All right, I guess I can stop if we're just.
We'll
gonna
see how far it goes. Does it like stop where the
I don't know.
area-
I just kind of stumbled upon this. Why don't you? Oh, we're back to the. Oh, so now see, it's gravel. It's not paved, and they do describe that it started. The road starts out gravel. Paved. It turns gravel, and then it opens up into what they called a parking lot.
And that's where the bodies were found?
Yeah.
The parking lot?
Well, that's where the vehicles were, and then it sounds like the bodies were kind of off into the woods a little bit.
Man, I bet you there's a fuck ton of free range weed being grown in that area.
This is probably it right here. Yeah. The little parking area, maybe. Maybe not. So I think that's.
So yeah, it's rural.
I'm also told that the bodies were recovered approximately.
Oh, all right.
In a clearing, not visible
Not
from the
visible from
road.
the road. Okay.
Person that located the victim did not signify.
Yeah, I mean, this is like miles off of any state road, any kind of interstate. This is like beaten path shit right here. Like way off the beaten path. All right, so that gives you guys an idea what we're dealing with here. Because when I first heard the story, my brain automatically went to it was like it's somebody's property. Like some shit went down, because I didn't know much about it. So as soon as I did not get an answer from Will. I'm sure he's fine though.
Particularly any cell phone number that would have contacted any of the victims consistent with maybe asking them to come to this location.
Okay. And did a number stand out?
There was one number that was immediately interesting. It showed up on the cell phone analysis at approximately 6:38 that morning, 6:38 a.m. That number was unknown as far as
this is
the tolls that we had analyzed to that point of known numbers of associates of the victims. In addition, another thing that we do when we're working these investigations is try to determine when the victims' phones stop taking calls, right? We're trying to work on a timeline. We're trying to narrow everything down so that our cell phone data is strong as possible. We noticed from the 4 victims' phones that none of the victims answered a call or made a call after 7:01 a.m. So knowing where they were located and when their phone stopped answering calls, we knew that whatever had happened to them had most likely happened right around or just before 7:01 a.m.
Wow.
And the number that stood out was that 731-345-7426.
It was.
So prior to 6:38 that morning, it wasn't on any tolls of the victims.
Right. We subpoenaed the number and ascertained that phone had just came on for the first time ever that morning, and that it had been purchased the night before at a Walmart in Dyer, Tennessee.
Burner.
And so what else did you do next?
We asked for tolls for that cell phone number to ascertain who, at that time, we could only see when it had called one of the victims' phones, which we had their tolls. So we now asked for the tolls of the number ending in 7426. One of the first things we saw when those tolls came in is that at 7:01 was the last call with one of the victims, Adrianna Williams. And at 7:25, it was calling persons associated with the rental of the Nissan Rogue car that was in question.
So here's the thing. At 7:01 is the last time those phones made or received a call. And at 7:01, Adrianna was on the phone with that phone number, who it's going to get tied back to it at this point being used by Austin Drummond.
So wait a second. So somebody buys the burner the night before at Walmart.
Right.
They're able to pull the number from the tower data.
No. So they went through the cell phone records of the victims. And this phone number contacted the victim's phone. The first call was at 6:38 in the morning that phone turned on.
Yeah.
And it made contact with the victim's phone. So then they went and pulled the phone records for that phone. And they saw the last time any of the victims' phones made or received a phone call was 7:01. And at 7:01, Adrianna, which is the mother of the baby, the victim, she was on the phone with that burner cell.
Okay.
All right.
I'm
So
trying to keep. So, but you said that when were they able to connect it with the rogue?
he did it right this second. He's talking about it.
All right.
I backed up a little bit.
Adrianna Williams, and at 7:25, it was calling persons associated with the rental of the Nissan Rogue car that was in question. So we knew pretty confidently that number was very interesting to us.
So that phone is calling the person who rented the Rogue.
Correct.
Well, I thought that was Austin Drummond.
Well, whoops. The person who rented the Rogue in their name wasn't the person driving the Rogue.
Okay.
About to get to it. Okay. So I can't move this thing down for whatever reason off of his face.
Pretty confidently that number was very interesting to us. We then asked for the cell phone company to provide geolocation records for the cell phone 731-345-7426, and immediately we ascertained that number had been at the crime scene and had started traveling south from the crime scene at approximately 7:24 a.m. As I mentioned earlier, my job is to combine the phone, the video reviews, and the timelines to make it tell a story, to help it assist in telling a story. We also had ascertained that Matt Wilson's vehicle was also going south from the crime scene, passing a camera at approximately 7:25 a.m. And the cell phone data put this newly identified cell phone number passing that same camera at a time consistent with Matt Wilson.
So I'm going to go back.
7:25 a.m.
Matt Wilson is one of the victims, and now they have Matt Wilson's vehicle passing a camera at 7:25 at the same time that phone number is also traveling geolocated to that same area at 7:24.
But I thought that they were saying that
Correct.
they were assigning the time of death at 7:01.
They are. That's not who they're not saying that Matt Wilson is in his vehicle. They're saying his vehicle is being driven at 7:25.
Okay.
And the cell phone data put this newly identified cell phone number passing that same camera at a time consistent with Matt Wilson's truck going southbound.
And Mr. Wilson's truck is a late 80s F-150.
That's correct.
Can I ask one thing? I'm sorry. When you say passes the camera, are you referring to the camera where was that camera?
I should have been more specific. Yes, sir. So
I apologize.
No, absolutely. There was a fire station on Highway 78 just north of the main intersection here, headed towards the crime scene. And that was the video that caught the F-150 traveling southbound at 7:25 a.m.
There had been some testimony about cameras, and I was trying to make sense of which one it was talking about. So
yes, sir.
Apologize for interrupting the agent. Yes, sir.
All right, Agent Austin, you had mentioned that 7426 called a number associated with the rental. Can you explain that?
Yes, due to
there you go,
some good work performed previously, there was a Nissan Rogue that had been identified that had been rented in Jackson, Tennessee the day before and picked up on the morning of the homicide. This vehicle was captured on license plate readers going northbound towards the crime scene and then going southbound away from the crime scene at a time later in the afternoon. In addition, there was some identification of the vehicle from a park ranger being seen at the location. The investigative team followed up with the rental agreement and with Enterprise Rental Car to learn about who had rented this vehicle and identified a Michelle Obelis, I may not pronounce the last name correctly, Obelis, as being the renter. As that investigation continued, she had identified that the vehicle had been given to Austin Drummond and rented on Austin Drummond's behalf.
Okay. And did she have any connection to the defendant, Mr. Drummond?
Her boyfriend, Giovante Thomas, was closely associated with Austin, and she was also closely associated with an individual named Tanaka Brown. Our phone toll analysis identified that at 7:25, as that number 731-345-7426 was leaving the crime scene, it was jumping on a three-way conference call with Tanaka Brown and Giovante Thomas.
Okay. And then what?
So you guys you with us, babe?
Yeah, I'm writing it all down because I'm trying to get this timeline down.
Okay.
So 7246 leaves the crime scenes. Yeah. Burner leaves at what time was that? 7:24?
Correct.
24 a.m. And that phone number calls. And so I don't know. Did you give the name of the four people that were also charged as not co-conspirators, but accessories after the fact. Have you
No.
given their names?
No. Do you have them? I'm assuming this Giovanni Thomas and Tanaka Brown.
Yeah, those two were charged. Let me see, because I did some research on it. I want to see if I could pull up some more facts. Okay, hold on.
You'd have to assume at this point that Giovanni Thomas and Tanaka Brown, and I don't know that we hear about this now, but that they would have said at least what, unless they lawyered up right away, what Austin Drummond said to them in this three-way call, what had them take the next steps that they took. But
well, I mean, that's where shit gets weird.
Right,
Like if something crazy went down, because like to me, it sounds like a straight up drug deal. Like I mean, who's having somebody meet them out in an area like this to straight up just kill them? And then, but you're involving all kinds of other people on the front end. Like he's got Michelle renting the car, turning the Rogue over to him. It sounds like
right, like there was something planned to be happening that day. What was
Right.
it? If
Well,
it wasn't the murder,
seems like
then
a fucking drug deal.
right, because you got a rental vehicle, a burner cell, but the burner cell, well, they'll get to that. All right, I'm going to keep going unless you were looking for those names.
I am, but keep going. I'll
Okay.
high sign you when I get it.
I'm going to bloop backwards.
731-345-7426 was leaving the crime scene. It was jumping on a three-way conference call with Tanaka Brown and Giovanni Thomas.
Okay. And then what happened next?
All right, I've got it.
So obviously,
if you want to pause it real quick. So 5 individuals have been charged as accessories after the fact in connection with the quadruple homicides allegedly committed by Austin Drummond. We got Tanaka Brown, age 29, charged with accessory after the fact of first-degree murder and tampering with evidence. Giovanni Thomas, also age 29, charged with accessory after the fact of first-degree murder. Somebody named Dara Sanders, age 23, charged with accessory after the fact of first-degree murder. Eric Wise, age 24 or 26, according to one report, indicted on 2 counts of accessory after the fact of murder. And then Michelle Ovelis, the renter of the car, also indicted on 2 counts of accessory after the fact of the murder. So in summary, these 5 individuals are all facing charges assisting Drummond after the alleged murders, such as providing shelter, transportation, communication, or tampering with evidence as he evaded capture.
All right, and we're hearing about 2 of those people right now. So we're starting with that phone call, 3-way phone call right after the burner cell and one of the victims' vehicles leaves the crime scene.
at this point,
That's what I've heard, Julie.
What?
That they were droning the drugs into the prison. Because I ran into, and I don't know if it was one of these dudes or if it was somebody else that was friends with Austin or who knew Austin from inside that did like a fucking TikTok, and he looked high as fuck. And he was just like, it was strange. It was like a 6-minute live. No, he did. He looked high as fuck.
In Bob's opinion.
In my opinion. And he was just kind of rambling about, like Austin was a bad motherfucker, inside, and like he never met a white dude like that was as bad as this fucking dude. So he was just kind of going on like that. He wasn't really saying one way or another if he had knowledge as to whether or not Austin did this. Yeah, TKS said they saw that same thing. I don't know who that dude was, but I mean, it's just another weird facet of this case for certain.
All right, let's keep listening.
What happened next?
So obviously at this point, we were extremely interested in just learning everything we can about the user of this telephone number. We learned that upon departing the crime scene It traveled to an area in Dyersburg, commonly known as Bikini Bottoms. Bikini Bottoms used to be like an off-road recreation vehicle area for ATVs and such. When the phone arrived, and a point of interest, as this phone is traveling south towards Bikini Bottom, one of the victim's phones is traveling in concert with that phone. So that was very interesting to us as well. Both of those phones got to the Bikini Bottom area, and the phone 731-345-7426 arrived at Bikini Bottom at approximately 7:44 a.m. and stayed in the area to approximately 9:04 a.m. Based on what we do with violent crime investigations and the knowledge base that we have, we theorize that something as far as getting rid of evidence or weapons or something had happened at that Bikini Bottom area.
That's some theorizing.
It did. There was, based on the phone data and the investigation.
How long was it there until 9
search parties were organized to go to Bikini Bottom.
7:44 a.m. until 9:04 a.m.
All right, so that was there for a hot minute. So that's the Rogue, right? That's
No.
This
This
is
is Matthew's vehicle,
okay.
the victim's vehicle.
Okay.
And what they're really talking about right now is the phones, but the phone was traveling with the vehicle earlier. So, we're assuming the vehicle,
So wait,
same vehicle.
was this because one of the victim's phones is in one of the cars, and then the burner's in one of the cars. So it sounds like there's 2 cars in play, right?
Or one car, 2 phones.
Well,
'Cause
where's the Rogue?
we don't know, but they have not said yet, but let's just keep listening.
Okay.
On the day that these
Let me
phones
go back.
It did. There was, based on the phone data and the investigation in whole, search parties were organized to go to Bikini Bottom. On the day that these phone tolls were being worked, they initially found a Tennessee driver's license for Matthew Wilson. And the next day, we found Mr. Wilson's vehicle down the ravine there at Bikini Bottom.
And that's the late 80s F-150 truck?
Yes, sir.
Did 7426 stay at Bikini Bottom?
Stayed there till about 9:04 a.m. And then it began a southeastwardly travel towards Jackson, Tennessee.
Okay. And did it eventually reach Jackson?
It did.
Do you know what time?
Refer to my notes for a more specific time. We saw it arriving in the Jackson, Tennessee area at approximately 10:04 a.m.
And where did the phone go while it was in Jackson?
The phone first travels to an area consistent with the Clarion Hotel in Jackson, Tennessee. It then moves towards the Cherry Grove Apartments, and then eventually towards back up towards Dyersburg.
Okay. Let's stay in Jackson for a minute. Was there any significance to the Clarion Hotel?
Through the investigation, the Clarion was identified as a place where Austin Drummond resided regularly and potentially used as a place to organize criminal activity.
Okay, so there we have it. The phone has now traveled from Bikini Bottom, which is where they found one of the victim's vehicles and
Can I
driver's
ask you a
license.
question real quick? Who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
I don't know.
It's kidding. SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yeah, I do know. I remember.
I mean, we remember.
Yes. So 10:04, the phone that was, waiting at Bikini Bottom is now traveling a path of Austin's, where he's staying now, where he's lived before. So we're tying it pretty firmly to Austin at this point. So let's keep going. I don't know about this, like potentially used as a place to organize criminal activity, like how they knew that. But at least he says potentially. We're theorizing potentially.
And was the vehicle at Clarion?
The information from the investigation is that his personal vehicle, the Audi, was at the Clarion. Mr. Tanaka Brown, who picked him up at Bikini Bottom, drove him back to his vehicle at the Clarion, and then followed him to Cherry Grove to depart, to leave the Audi sedan.
Is there any significance to the Cherry Grove apartment?
Cherry Grove Apartments is where Mr. Drummond's girlfriend, Caitlin Speed, resided. The investigation revealed that when his vehicle was departed at the Cherry Grove apartment complex, that he ascertained some cleaning style brushes at the apartment.
And then you said after that it starts moving back north toward Dyersburg?
There's a little time with it still being in Jackson, but by 11:55 a.m., the phone began a northwestern travel towards Bell, Tennessee.
And then it reached Dyer.
We have the phone in conjunction with the license plate readers being in Dyersburg at 12:39 p.m. and by 1:04 p.m. being back north of Tiptonville near the crime scene.
And did it stay at the crime scene very long?
The phone appeared to stay, and just one note of reference for an education and this geolocation stuff with phones. You get these records either when a phone call is placed, a text message is placed, or some type of data transfer between the phone and the network. So Instagram sends you a notification, or your bank pops up and says you overdrafted, like any kind of data transfer.
You overdrafted.
Location data. But a person could be at a place a couple minutes before, and we would not see that due to if there was no data transmission. Could stay at a place a couple minutes after. These time frames are based on a call being made or a data transfer happening. So the last data transfer we saw near the crime scene was at 1:14 p.m.
All right, and then what happened?
1:38, we started seeing timing advanced data southbound from the crime scene. Timing advanced data is how a cellular tower communicates with the handheld phone device. So in a nutshell, the cell phone towers that you see have 3 sectors that cover a 360-degree circle. Each of these sectors cover approximately 120 degrees. When the phone is on the network, it's constantly sending some type of signal to the phone to determine how far away it is from that network. And the primary reason is a business sense from the phone company. They need to know which tower that phone should be using to have the strongest reception or the strongest data capability. So as that ping is going to that phone and coming back to that tower, if it's getting a little too far away or maybe a little closer to another tower, it'll tell it to start communicating with the stronger tower. So what we can do in law enforcement is we can ask to obtain that timing advanced data. And what that will do is say, when the phone was making that call or having that data transaction, what sector is it on, what 120-degree arc from the tower, and how long did it take that communication to go to the phone and back. So if you have 120 degrees and you're measuring the time from the tower to the phone and back, you're able to say that phone is somewhere in that arc that represents the amount of time from the tower and back.
So 138, you start seeing timing advanced data moving south from the crime scene?
That's correct.
Okay. And what happened next?
Still tracking south towards Dyersburg through 2:14 p.m. Then we have another license plate reader hit in Dyersburg at 2:15 p.m. From the next timing advanced data of significance was from 2:32 to 2:35. It was tracking towards Friendship, where the 8-month-old Westland was dropped off. The phone hit a arc right over the house where the baby was dropped off at approximately 2:35 p.m.
Did you say the phone hit a arc? What does that mean?
So when the phone made either a data transfer or a phone call or a text message at 2:35.
All right. So just because I know some of you are chatting and maybe not listening. So now we have they're still tracking that burner phone that goes to Austin's house. He goes to Austin's girlfriend's house. He goes to where Austin used to live. He goes back to the crime scene. It goes to the location where the 8-month baby was dropped off. And that's where we are now. So, which is sort of what I suspected from the beginning. There's no question that Austin Drummond is the guy who dropped the child off. What's odd is that Caitlin Speed, his girlfriend, she must know something. And why did she just let him, like, okay, I can't give the baby to you because then they're going to want to know how you got the baby. So I'm just going to take the baby 40 minutes away and drop the baby off. Like, isn't she worried about this? Or did he go under some false pretense when he was with her and asked for cleaning supplies? I mean, these are all things that we'll have to figure it out. He does know the baby. His Caitlin Speed is Austin Drummond's girlfriend. She is pregnant with his child. This is Austin, the grandmother victim, I believe, is Caitlin Speed's aunt, her mother's sister, or it could be her sister, Caitlin Speed's sister. One or the other. So this is her family. Austin Drummond was family to her family. I read the obituary of Caitlin's mother, which was, and again, you guys, there's all of this. I tweeted, I think even a picture or at least a quote directly from the obituary. They referred to Caitlin and Austin as married, that the mother was very excited to meet her grandchild. And I had run up, but thank you. Ooh, Bobby's bringing me double fisted. Actually, my water just ran out, so it was perfect timing. Coffee and water. So yeah, it's strange to me how he visits Caitlin Speed in the middle of all of this, get cleaning supplies, and yet like the baby stays with him and ends up with a stranger. Also begs the question, why are you, if you're not involved in the actual murder, cleaning up anything? But let's hear what else they have to say, because we haven't really heard much about that. And I'm going to bloop backwards. Okay.
Start 2:35 p.m.
Did you say the phone hit hard? What does that mean?
So when the phone made either a data transfer or a phone call or a text message at 2:35, the phone communicated with the tower in an amount of time consistent that it had to be in an arc that covered the area of the home where the baby was dropped off.
Okay. So then what happened after that?
Around 2:35 to 2:55, the phone starts slowly going back northbound towards Dyersburg. We learned through our investigation by 3:11 p.m. that a 911 call was coming in about the child being in the yard. From 2:57 to 3:23, the phone starts tracking towards Bells, Tennessee, southeast again, eventually towards Jackson.
Okay. And does it eventually reach Jackson?
It does. At 3:39 p.m., the telephone number was back in the Jackson, Tennessee area. Of great significance to the investigative team. At 4:22 p.m., I'll try to explain this. It's a little bit difficult, but I mentioned the arcs where a phone can be in. So if you've got a sector pointing this way and you have an arc, but if you're in a city and you got multiple towers close, sometimes you'll see the arc from this tower and then the other tower facing back at you, you'll see its arc. So if you ever have two arcs intercept, you can not only say the phone is in the arc, you can say it's exactly you can say with great confidence that the phone is where the two arcs intercept. You almost have to see that, but.
So just because Bob was doing such sweet things, I just want to let you know what we had just discussed was they put into evidence how the phone went from Austin's, where he was staying at that hotel, to his girlfriend's house, to another place he lived, tracked it back and forth to the crime scene and to the location where the 8-month-old was dropped off. So the phone.
Okay, so the phone.
The burner phone.
Have they gotten to how they know that Austin had that phone?
Well, we know that it went to Austin's house. It went to Austin's girlfriend's house. It went back to the crime scene. And then you had this statement of one of those people that was charged. So I think it was.
Okay, well, did they get video from the Walmart to see who bought the phone?
They haven't done that yet. I'm sure they'll be getting to that. But they did have I think it might have been Giovanni Thomas, who said that he picked Austin up at Bikini Bottom and drove him to where his car was at that hotel, where his Saab, I think it was, whatever it was. But yeah, we pretty much got it locked down. It's on lockdown that Austin is the one with this phone, and Austin dropped off the baby. And let's keep going.
Where the two arcs from two towers intersected from 4:22 p.m. to 6:06 p.m. was right over Austin Drummond's parents' home.
There you go.
And then did he leave his parents' home?
Approximately 6:34, we saw the phone being in an area consistent with the Clarion Hotel again. And then at 8:44 p.m., we saw the phone being in an area consistent with being back at Cherry Grove Apartments at Caitlin Speed's residence. And then of note, the phone went off the network. Well, let me mention this. Of note, that, Lake County received a 911 call at 8:17 p.m., kind of alerting the family and the public to what's going on. The phone went off the network for the last time ever at 8:44 p.m. So phone was just turned on for that day and then was never used again after 8:24 p.m.
Thank you, Mr. Austin.
Yes.
Mr. Hoffman.
All right. They got a lot out with that witness.
Yes.
So your role in this case was essentially limited to the cell phone data analysis, correct?
The cell phone analysis and just assisting with interpretation in the command post of the timeline, the video, and the phone data.
All right, now, I actually understand what you're talking about with the triangulation regarding those things. The only way, so when you have cell phone data, my understanding is, also in your testimony, there are 120 degree arcs. Typically, cell towers have 3 areas.
Thank you.
That is correct.
Right. Now, in order to determine the position of the cell phone, you can tell which sector it's in, correct?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
And unless you have the timing advance data, you do not have a distance from the tower, correct?
Right, that requires the timing advance data.
All right, so you do not have the timing advance data, you just know it's somewhere in that sector.
Yes.
And that could be large area, square miles, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right. How many of these locations did you have timing advance data? For instance, you said there's one where the timing advance data gave you triangulation directly over Austin from his parents' house.
Yes.
Right. A couple times you testified that you had the cell phone at the crime scene.
Yes.
Was that given with the timing advance data, or was that just in the general area with the sector?
That was with timing advance data, but it would be with one arc, so it could be in a great length of area in an arc, but the arc was over the crime scene.
Okay, so you did have a sector and an arc.
Well, how big is the arc?
Did you ever determine who purchased that?
Here's your question, babe. They're being very vague. They're just saying the arc is very big, anywhere in the arc, and it's very big. And even the defense attorney is just like a lot of mileage, or square footage, or whatever he said. Nobody's talking about the possible distance. But wake up if you're asleep out there. He's just asked him, did you ever figure out who purchased that burner phone at Walmart?
That was my question.
Oh, did you see him? He didn't want. He's like, yes. He didn't want to answer it.
Okay, so you did have a sector and an arc.
Yes.
That was my question. Did you ever determine who purchased that cell phone? You said it was purchased in Walmart in Dyersburg. Is there any evidence who purchased that phone?
We believe that 2 of the victims purchased the phone the night before.
Wow.
Do you have any evidence that Austin Drummond purchased that phone?
Not him personally, no, sir.
Thoughts?
My thought is, what the fuck?
Right. 2 of the victims purchased the phone. So now you've got planning between them as a unit. What I'm seeing anyway, and we got to hear the rest of this, meaning Austin Drummond's renting a car that night and using a friend to do it. 2 of the victims are getting a burner phone the night before that ends up in the possession of Austin Drummond.
Maybe.
Now, I guess what we don't know is, well, I'm willing to accept at this point that they've put enough on to me to at least at this point in time be willing to accept the possible proposition that
definitely probable cause. They've definitely reached that level.
Right. And I'm not talking about murders yet. I'm just talking about the phones traveling with him. So it could have been both of those phones, the burner phone, because remember at some point they said the burner phone and one of the victims' phone are traveling in conjunction with each other. And Austin was driving.
I'm sorry, Ashley. No, 2 of the victims don't have burner phones. 2 of the victims went to the Walmart and bought the burner phone the night before, the burner phone in question.
Correct. So what I'm saying is it could have been that the burner phone and one of the victims' phones were in Matthew's truck, and that's why it followed him. But no, I take it back. That's not the case, because he testified that at 7:01, the burner phone was on a phone call with Adrianna, with one of the victims. So if that person is Drummond at that point, then they've given him this burner phone as part of whatever they were planning.
See, we don't know how many vehicles, if they all came in Matt's car and got dropped off. Like, we don't know how these 4 people got there.
We know that there were 3 vehicles there when the
the resource guy came.
Right. One of them was the Nissan, but one of them was not. I did not recall him saying an F-150, but I could be wrong. Guess we could go back and check, but I didn't hear the F-150. But there were 3 vehicles there.
But he
So
said Matt's car was like a 1980 some.
F-150,
Oh,
right?
F-150. All right.
Unless I mean, I could be saying it wrong, but yeah, whatever the 1980 whatever is the car that I'm talking about. I don't recall that being there, although the
Why are they
Nissan
calling that
Rogue.
a car though? That's a truck. Like distinctly a
It's a
truck. An
truck.
F-150 is a pickup truck.
Or maybe they were calling it a truck. I don't know.
No, they were calling it a vehicle. Well, they said vehicle, I think. So I don't
Okay.
know.
All right. So far now we know that I mean it was a pickup. So I wanted to see what the chat thought. Like where are your minds at right now that the victims purchased the phone at issue? And regardless of how Austin Drummond got it, and we're assuming for this that it's Austin Drummond with the car during the timing events that we just talked about, it's got to mean something that both sets of people, the victims and Austin, seem to be planning something the night before. Austin rented the vehicle, someone else's name, they're getting a burner phone. So it seems that they're both planning something together, which kind of goes in line with what we were saying
Well,
earlier, Babe.
Michelle's not a victim. She's an accessory after the fact. So the girl who rented the car and then handed it over to Austin isn't one of the victims.
No.
She's an accessory after the fact.
She's tied to Austin, not to the victims.
But he's tied to the victims as well. I'm sure you mentioned the fact that Austin's girlfriend and presumptive baby mama, like I've heard that she's pregnant with this kid. She was a correctional officer at the jail or the / prison. And she is the sister of the 38-year-old grandma victim. So, like, and if you know anything about this case, you've heard a lot of the victim's family that's still alive that were like, we really liked Austin. Like, he was like a really good guy and he was helping the family out a lot. And, so they're really, really weird.
I'm just saying a possibility, and I'm just throwing out possibilities based on the facts that we know, is that the victims and Austin were working together to, if you guys are saying there's like this drone thing, I'm just going to go with that. Like, this is the area where they do their droning from to get the contraband to the prison.
Well, how far is the prison from where the bodies were located?
This is some spot that they do their some stuff in. And if Austin's cover was really blown, somebody could have went to that spot targeting Austin, got the 4 of them, and the baby was in the, well, why would the
Right. So Sunny Days is saying it was a Dodge Charger, a Chevy Traverse, and a Nissan Rogue.
Right.
So where's this F-150 come in?
I'm thinking this is during the period that the F-150 leaves, goes to Bikini Bottoms, is doing all of that, and then he comes back to get his Dodge. He gets dropped off to the Dodge Charger later.
You guys, are you saying very close that the kill site in relation to the prison is very, very
I do
close?
remember hearing that now that someone says that.
So yeah, Canton says very close. Yvette says very, very close. And
Right.
then
So
Ellen
if
says
they're
1.5.
there, and let's just go with this drone thing, just for the hell of it, somebody threw it out there, and this is where they do their droning from.
Well, that's how they drop shit in these days with drones.
All right. And Austin has been made. So someone knows that this is where they are to do one of their drops. They could have gone there to
fucking take the money, and if there is money, and or just the drugs.
Right. Or to kill them all, or to do whatever. And
Right.
Austin, the only thing it would only make sense is if the baby was already in Matthew's truck. And that's why he hops in the truck and drives away. Now, if the baby didn't arrive in Austin's truck, that theory doesn't work unless Austin ran and hid and then went back for the.
Austin's in the Rogue.
I understand, but what I'm saying is, if some other party arrives there and starts, in an effort to kill everybody, and Austin, the baby is in Matthew's truck, and Austin jumps in that truck and takes the baby out of there to safety, that's a possibility. Although it's being said that that's Matthew's truck. So what's the chances that the 15-year-old has the baby in his car, but there were 2 phones in there, so it could have been that mom and
Yvette says the Austin leaves in the F-160, which
F-160.
so
Correct.
is that is Matt's car, Matthew's car.
Correct. So it only would make
So
sense.
we actually have 4 cars in play, if the chat's correct, which I have no
Mhm.
reason to believe that they're not.
They
So
are.
we got the Traverse, the Rogue. What was the other one?
Oh, the Charger's the
The
15
Dodge Charger, the Traverse, the Rogue, and the Ford F-150. So there's 4 cars in play. All right, yeah, and like to your point, we have no idea, because you're right. If like theoretically the baby, if you have kids, if you've had babies, you install the base, right? So you install the base, the car seat clicks into it.
Oh, Matthew is the baby. I'm sorry.
Wait,
So there's
how could
Right.
that be Matthew's
Right,
car?
then is Matthew the baby? The victims' names are James Wilson, Adrianna Williams, Cortney Rose, and brother Braydon Williams. So now I'm not sure. I thought they did say someone's car was Matthew's car, but I don't know who Matthew is. Or was Matthew the baby?
Well, the baby doesn't have a car.
I know that. I know that.
No, James Matthew Wilson is one of the victims.
Oh,
So
so
you have
he went by
Adrianna Williams, James M. Matthew Wilson,
Okay.
Courtney Rose, who's
All right.
grand-
So then that makes 100% sense. As a possibility, as an alternate theory, babies in the truck, right? Somebody shows up, starts killing everybody. Austin jumps in the truck and
Jets.
with the baby to get the baby out of there and rescues.
Or maybe it's the closest vehicle available to him, and he doesn't even know the baby's in there. He gets in there, the fucking baby's in there. He's like, "Oh my god, the baby's
No, he
in
could have
here.
taken
I
his
got to
own.
get the baby out of here, get the baby somewhere safe," which he does. You know what I mean? That part could have been happenstance. I mean, we don't necessarily know that Austin would have known. Like, who's bringing their fucking baby to a drug deal unless you don't have any other choice? Because all the
Well,
people that would
like you
usually
said, if it's not
babysit the kid,
if it's not a drug deal, but it's their droning
it's a
of the
fucking
drugs.
drug deal.
No, but
It's
if
a
it's
fucking
like
drug deal.
if
There's
it's
no way
their
it's not.
if it's their droning location, they drone from there, so they already have the goods.
But that's still a drug deal. If they're muling the fucking drugs into the prison, like, so say like 7 a.m. is when they do the shift change at they know when shift changes are taking place. There's probably a specific time when somebody that they've got on the inside is going to be in a position, say outside on the wall, and they're like, all right, they're doing a fucking shift change. This dude who's on the payroll, he's going to be out on the wall. This is when we got to fly the drone in. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
so
That's what I'm saying. It's a possibility that it's just a drug launch and they aren't doing any money or drug exchanging, but it's also possible that the drug launch they were going to get the stuff first and someone showed up to do that.
Right.
And yeah, both are possible. I'm just saying right
Also,
now
we're really not even adding into the concept that he's a fucking it sounds like to me he's claiming he was a federal asset, not a state cop, like not a fucking CI for a cop.
What he said in that recording is that he worked with the
multiple
Tennessee
agencies.
Bureau of Investigations and the
TBI.
Federal Bureau of Investigations, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
but
people, should we keep going?
they don't play nice together.
No.
Even in joint task force, it's like especially the feds.
Julie says we need a Georgia Kappelman flow chart. Bob and Allie, get on that.
I'm
Yes,
going to
we
get
do.
on it.
Somebody will make one.
Times. We'll definitely we have to attack the timeline.
Right. So
Because
I'm just saying, to
TV
me, all of the facts I've heard thus far, and there's more. There's another hour. So sorry for talking so much, but I'm not hearing anything that makes me think that they've got, a lot of evidence that he's the actual
killer.
But if I hadn't heard him saying what he said, I'd be thinking, all right, well, clearly that's the guy. I mean,
Right.
he's
100%. 100%.
The familial connection just makes it seem like they wouldn't have been murdering each other.
Fucking crazy. And like the things that he says in that same interview, he's like, I treated,
But why are you snitching on your family?
he may not have any choice. Like if they're the ones that are fucking they're not his family, they're his girls.
I know, but in one breath, I'm saying they were like family, and he said they were like family, and he had no reason to hurt them, but he was willing to.
I mean, typically, like when you're snitching, the way that whole thing works is that it has to be somebody that is doing fucking dirty shit, right? I mean, you can't snitch on somebody who you don't know exists, number one.
Right.
Number two, you've got to know for it to have any kind of value to law enforcement where you're trying to bargain, whatever.
Right. Otherwise, they're like, we've got our own investigators. We'll find the bad guys.
Right. We need something of the same magnitude or better in terms of what we got you on in order
That's what
for
they want.
us to give you any credit on it. That's
That's
how the snitching game works with the cops.
Yep. All right, let's keep going because it's getting interesting. I'm going to blue
It's
back one.
Fucking interesting.
Purchased the phone the night before.
Not him personally, no, sir.
In King Bottom, you said that you located the Tennessee license of Matthew Wilson as well as his truck in a ravine, correct?
The truck was in a ravine. My understanding is the Tennessee
makes sense there.
paper copy, and it was
Your
not
theory.
down the hill. It was up more in a
Matt's baby daddy.
area, but it wasn't down the ravine.
Were you
Baby
involved in that
probably
search?
was in Matt's truck.
No, sir. No, sir.
Yes, sir. Any redirect, General?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Agent Clausen, thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Your next witness, General.
He's a general?
Sir, yes,
All right,
sir.
so we're going to the next witness. That
So
was an
where
interesting
do they
tidbit.
find so is he back in the Rogue? When he's arrested, what vehicle do they find him with?
I think that we're going to get some more. So this is the agent assigned to the case. This guy is not sequestered because they let the lead agent, as they do in federal court, which just drives me insane, stay in the courtroom and hear all the testimony because they're helping the state. Like, oh, pss, 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 pss. There's this, there's that. So he's been in the courtroom the whole time. The other witnesses were sequestered. So let's see what we learned from him.
Where do you work, sir?
With the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
How long have you worked there?
I've been there since 2018.
And were you on call or were you called on the evening of July 29th, 2025?
I was called, yes.
Do you know what the purpose of that call was?
Lake County Sheriff's Department had been called to an area out by the prison where two vehicles I had received emails about the child that was missing that morning or that afternoon.
From Dyer County?
From Dyer County. And the parents of the child plus the grandmother and the uncle of the child. So whenever I was called, I was told their vehicles and the deceased victims had been found out at the end of Carrington Road.
Okay. Did you go to that scene?
I did.
Once you got to that scene, what did you see?
There were members of not only the Dyer County Sheriff's Department, Lake County Sheriff's Department, Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, because it was on their land. But there was also some special agents from the TBI who had also been called to come out and assist me. Once we got out there, I saw the black Charger that was known to be driven by Braydon Williams, 15-year-old child, and a white Traverse that was known to be driven by Cortney Rose.
Was anyone inside the vehicles?
They were not.
What did you do after locating those vehicles?
We had Deputy Hunter Brady walk us around the scene as to what he had discovered whenever he first came upon the scene. And he showed us inside of the white Traverse, there was a red, brownish stain substances that are consistent with what I know to be blood. And then he showed us.
Let's look at it. Do you know who that white Traverse belonged to?
It was known to be driven by Cortney Rose.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And if you drive down Carrington Road, to the left where it kind of comes to a dead end, it's almost like a parking lot where these vehicles were parked. Behind that is whenever you start walking into
Babe,
the woods.
I want to hear who all the cars were talking to.
Okay, well, you've got
Real
the
quick.
black. You've got here. I'm going to do it like this because it's in the. Okay, so the Charger Okay, black Charger was known to be driven by Braydon Williams. That's the 15-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
White Traverse was
That's
Courtney
Courtney
Rose.
Rose, yeah.
That's the grandmother. So that does leave the F-160 or whatever vehicle to be the one that would have had the baby already in it. And these are the only two cars that are there when he's there. Now, that's because you've got the truck is already at Bikini Bottom or Bikini Bottoms, whichever it is. And presumably Austin is back in that rental car with the California plate. But let's see.
15-year-old child and a white Traverse. It was
Also, there's blood in the Traverse. And earlier they said in the passenger side and the passenger rear. So I don't know if there was more.
Right. Trace amounts or tons of blood. I mean, that like blood, like
let's
somebody's
find out.
leaning in to grab some shit or
let's see.
To be driven by Courtney Rose.
Was anyone inside the vehicle?
They were not.
What'd you do after locating those vehicles?
We had Deputy Hunter Brady walk us around the scene as to what he had discovered whenever he first came upon the scene. And he showed us inside of the white Traverse, there was a red, brownish stain substances that are consistent with what I know to be blood. And then he showed us.
Let me ask this. Do you know who that white Traverse belonged to?
It was known to be driven by Courtney Rose.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
And if you drive down Carrington Road, to the left where it kind of comes to a dead end, it's almost like a parking lot where these vehicles were parked. Behind that is whenever you start walking into the woods, same as what the deputy before was talking about. If you cross the road, you have wooded area in front of you. So the deputy took us to the back of the parking lot and showed us where Braydon Williams and Miss Courtney Rose were laying. They were covered with what looked like to be camouflage burlap, which is commonly used with hunting that I know of. And then he walked us in front of the parking lot across the road where the bodies of Adrianna Williams and Matthew Wilson were at, and they were also covered with the same type of burlap.
Were you able to? Were they all wood deceased?
They were.
You arrived.
Yes, sir.
Were you able to determine the cause of death at that time? What, not a medical cause, but what appears to be?
The injuries were consistent with gunshot wounds that all four victims had.
Were you able to determine how many gunshot wounds there were?
Not at the time.
Were you able to at a later time?
Yes. Whenever the medical examiner out of Nashville called me with preliminary findings, he informed me of how many wounds and type of wounds that each victim had.
What type of wounds did Courtney Rose have?
She had been shot in the head.
How many times?
At least once, that I remember.
Okay. What about Braydon Williams?
He had been shot in the back of the head.
What about Adrianna Williams?
She had also been shot in the head.
And what about Matthew Wilson?
Mr. Wilson had been shot in multiple places in his body for approximately 11 times.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Please. Please. Please help me. Please.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, Joe.
Devastating.
You had said earlier that there was an
Devastating.
that had been found in Dyer County.
Yes, sir.
I assume, did you find any evidence of an incident that may have been there?
I didn't see any evidence in the vehicle at the time. Whenever we realized the totality of the scene, myself and my immediate supervisor that was on the scene, we decided to call the violent crime response team that TBI has, and we stepped back away from the scene and secured it until they got there.
And after they got there and they processed the scene, did you continue with the investigation?
We did. We set up a command post away from the crime scene at the Old National Guard Armory here in Tiptonville.
Were you eventually able to develop a suspect in these homicides?
They were a person of interest, yes.
And who was that?
Mr. Austin Drummond.
Did you see him in court?
I do.
You identified him?
He's a gentleman sitting at the defense table in the inmate uniform.
After getting there, you said that there were two vehicles there. Did you get information that there may have been a third vehicle?
Yes.
Tell me about that.
We were told by Miss Kim Hamill, which is Mr. Wilson's mother, that he drove a older model F-150.
You know what color it was?
It was white with a red stripe down the side of it.
Was that vehicle out there that day?
It was not.
Did you think that maybe that was something you needed to be looking for?
Yes, sir.
What did you do?
Chief Joe England of the Tiptonville Police Department, before we got to Tiptonville, had already been looking at video from the Tiptonville Fire Department. There's a camera there. And he had found video of the victims arriving that morning, passing the fire department, driving north out towards Carrington Road. And then I believe there was video of the truck returning a few minutes later, about an hour or so later.
Okay. And you said that was footage from the Tiptonville Fire Department?
Correct.
Okay. Did you review that footage yourself?
I did not. I mean, I did look at pictures that Chief was sending us. Correct. We obtained the entire video. We sent an agent to Tiptonville to obtain video not only from the fire department and other places of interest along Highway 78.
One thing that we usually look at on security cameras is the date and time.
Correct.
Did you check that on these cameras?
On the fire department camera, I did ask the chief to check what the time on the timestamp was in the temp.
That's what I was thinking.
The real time.
Okay. And was it accurate?
It was not.
Okay. What about how far off was it? Just approximately?
Approximately 53 minutes.
Approximately 53 minutes. Okay. Was the date correct?
Yes.
All right.
Sleuthie.
Maybe we'll show you video on the screen there. And I'm just going to go ahead and move over to the point that we're interested in.
General, while you're pulling that up, I want to ask one question. You're saying, I just heard a moment ago, you said on the time period right there, which is marked in the right-hand corner of the screen, bottom right-hand corner, that is actually, if it's saying 5:35, it's actually 53 minutes ahead in time. Is that what you're saying?
So if it's 5:35, it's going to be 53 minutes. So the time that's on there, it's 53 minutes.
Okay, so it should be 6:28 or 6 somewhere around 6. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure of that. Thank you.
Okay. I want you to look at this camera at the fire department. Tell me if you can tell me what these. I'm sorry. Let me back just a second. You recognize that white vehicle?
It appears to be the white Traverse of Miss Courtney Rose.
And what direction is that vehicle traveling?
It is traveling north.
And what, in relation to the fire department, where is the crime scene?
If you're looking at the road, the direction that the car is traveling is the direction of Carrington Road.
Okay. So that car will be traveling in the direction of the crime scene?
Correct.
Okay. And then you recognize that vehicle?
It appears to be the vehicle that Mr. Braydon Williams would have been driving.
Okay. And this would have been, since the time is all approximately 6:28, somewhere around that time?
Correct.
Okay, this is Tiptonville Fire Department camera. Is that right?
Correct. So.
You recognize that vehicle?
I do. That is the vehicle that appears to be driven by Mr. Matthew Wilson.
And is that the vehicle that was not at the scene that you were looking for?
It was not at the scene.
Okay. And the time, once again, it is not correct. So is it approximately 20, 22, 23 minutes after the first two vehicles came by?
That's correct.
Okay. And then did you later find a video from the fire department as well of one of the vehicles or any of the vehicles leaving the scene?
We did.
Was there a video of?
So I was fixing the ticker. Did they show yet the Nissan Rogue arriving at the scene? You're muted.
If it was the first car. Because I saw 628, the black Dodge Charger drives by. And then they're saying 22 minutes later, the F-160.
All right. Yeah, I didn't. People in the chat are saying they don't think so, that they've shown it yet. And there is a gag as of yesterday. All right. I'm going to loop back one. Okay.
Leaving the scene. We did. Was there a video of all three vehicles leaving?
No, sir.
How many vehicles were actually leaving the scene?
It was a video. On this video, it only captured the truck of Mr. Matthew Wilson.
Was it Mr. Matthew Wilson in the truck, or was it just his truck?
It was just his truck, from what I can tell. I couldn't see. I can't ascertain who was in the vehicle.
The same vehicle leaving the scene?
It appears to be, yes.
Okay. Now, you heard testimony from Agent Lawson previously about the phone calls. And there was a talk about a phone call that connected on the cell phone that was at the scene, then left the scene, and then was eventually at Austin Drummond's parents' home. Was it at the same time that coordinates with this video?
Yes.
Now, did you also obtain video footage from Williams' garage?
It was obtained. I haven't viewed it.
Now, were you able to determine that the time on that one was actually correct?
I do remember being told that they had the correct time on it.
Okay. So now, if this is this south of the fire department?
It is heading back towards Dyersburg.
Okay. So if you're coming from Dyersburg to the crime scene, this camera would have caught the people first and then the fire department.
Correct. The Mexican restaurant is here to the left of the screen, and then you have the mural that's painted on these little grain bins or chemical bins.
Okay. Is that the same white traverse we saw previously?
It does appear to be the same white traverse.
And that time is 6:27 a.m. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So that time is actually accurate. That's the time the vehicles were actually going towards the crime scene.
The real time, whenever this video was seized or collected, was the same time as what the live image on the screen that they were watching the video was. So yes, that's the correct time.
So that would have been the correct time. And then the black vehicle that is trailing.
That appears to be the same Dodge Charger that was at the crime scene.
Oh, there it is.
The red and white truck once again.
It is.
Can you tell how many people are in that vehicle?
There appears to be two occupants of the vehicle.
Wow.
And that time, 6:50 a.m. is that would be the accurate time?
That's correct.
So about 20 minutes after the first two vehicles came by.
Yes, sir.
So that's mom, dad, and baby.
So you one other.
Or at least mom, dad, and baby, if not more.
What location is this video from?
I think a Mexican restaurant down the street. Some from the.
That's the same vehicle now leaving the crime scene.
It appears to be.
And once again, the time on that.
It's 07:25 a.m.
So approximately 30 minutes after we passed by the first time.
That's correct.
Can you tell if there's two people in the vehicle?
It doesn't appear to be. I can't see anybody in the
Oh, you
vehicle.
can't fucking see, dude. Calm
You
down.
see anyone in the passenger seat?
You might want to stand up.
No, go ahead.
I don't mind. Do not.
What time was this, Bay?
30
Do you
minutes
know how far it is from the
later.
Mexican restaurant there to the crime scene that you were driving?
Wait. It's right there. Hold on.
Restaurant there. Do you know how far it is from the Mexican restaurant
7:25, 57.
there?
Yep.
Crime scene that you were driving.
Just a few minutes. I'm not sure on the mileage, maybe 2-3 miles.
Maybe 10 minutes.
Maybe.
We've got about a 30-minute gap there from the time that the vehicle passes here, gets to the crime scene, and then comes back to that point.
That's correct.
Did you later find that red and white vehicle?
We did.
Where was it found?
It was found in the Bikini Bottoms area. The day before the paper copy of Mr. Wilson's driver's license had been found. I believe it's commonly known as the Three Cross Memorial or the Kara Swift Memorial. It had been found by some citizens. We had some people go out there and collect it. The agent at the time believed he saw, it was getting close to dark, believed he saw some tire tracks going down the gully, or being whatever you want to call it. So we set up a search for the next morning. That morning we had TBI out there, Tennessee Wildlife Resources, members of the Dyer County Sheriff's Department, and they found that truck down that ravine covered by kudzu bones.
Now, if we can go back one other thing, the video that we just showed, the truck as it was leaving Tiptonville, was at 7:25 a.m. Okay. When you heard the testimony of Agent Lawson, did you hear him testify that there was a three-way call taking place at that exact time, 7:25 a.m.
Yes, sir.
between Austin Drummond and Tanaka Brown? Okay, let me rephrase that. That there was a call from that phone that is of interest to Tanaka Brown and Giovanni Thomas.
Correct. The phone that had been at the crime scene that was activated that morning that we later found that was
In there, Ryan.
So there was a call to Mr. Gio
Something
Thomas
said.
and Mr. Tanaka Brown.
And at that exact time that it was passing that Mexican restaurant, 7:25 a.m., the call was made.
Approximately correct. The exact time. Yes, sir.
All right, so now let me go back to the vehicle that was found. Did you receive any information about how the vehicle got there? Got to Bikini Bottoms?
Correct. We interviewed Miss Michelle Ovelis a couple of times, and she ended up telling us that she was told by Tanaka Brown that he had met Mr. Drummond with the baby out in that area and given him a ride back to Jackson.
Okay. Did you talk to Tanaka Brown about that?
We did.
Did he admit any of those things?
He did.
Did he make any statements about assisting to push the vehicle?
He did not, but he did make that statement to Miss Ovelis's boyfriend, Gio Thomas.
Did Mr. Brown bring anything with him when he picked up Mr. Drummond?
During an interview with Mr. Brown, he informed me that whenever he was on that three-way call with Mr. Drummond, Gio Thomas, that Mr. Drummond had asked him for a ride, and he also told him to pick up cleaning supplies. But he said he stopped at Walmart in Jackson and bought gloves, bleach, and trash bags.
Do you know if those supplies were used at that crime scene or at the scene of the truck?
We were told by Mr. Brown and Miss Ovelis that whenever they returned the vehicle, there was cleaning supplies and trash bags in the trunk along with a gas can.
Okay. So Mr. Tanaka Brown admits that he picks up Mr. Drummond and the baby from Bikini Bottoms.
Correct. He also told Miss, I'm sorry.
And takes them where?
Takes them to, the first place he took them was to the Clarion Hotel in Jackson off Carriage House Drive. That's where Mr. Drummond's Audi vehicle was parked. Mr. Drummond got the vehicle. Mr. Brown and him went to Cherry Grove Apartments where they dropped that Audi off. They continued on from there with the child in the car to the apartment of Gio Thomas and Michelle Ovelis to retrieve the rental car.
All right, so so now you have this other party who says that Austin called and said, I need you to bring cleaning supplies, meet me at Bikini Bottoms, drives him back to his house where his Audi is, drives him back to, now I'm fairly certain that the next location was Caitlin Speed's house. So again, he's got the baby with him. He's telling these other people what's going on, and then he's popping in on Caitlin Speed. The Cherry Grove Apartments.
Where they dropped the Audi off. They continued on from there with the child in the car to the apartment of Gio Thomas and Michelle Bellis to retrieve the rental car.
And the rental car, what type of rental car was it?
It was a Nissan Rogue.
Color?
It was a silver or light.
All right. Now that's strange. He didn't use the rental car for whatever was going on at the meetup location, and didn't get into the rental car until later. Now, we don't know. Was there something else supposed to happen, or, but
I don't know, but you don't rent a car as a getaway vehicle, having someone else rent it when,
right. And then they'll bring it to get away in.
This is how easy it is to track all this shit. Like even the burner. I mean, they were on the burner shit immediately. This is like within hours they have, as soon as they get one of the victims' phones and they see this incoming call coming, hitting all the different phone numbers, they know, all right, it's not registered to anybody. It's a fucking burner. They're going to look and see where it was purchased. So they're able to figure that out. They figure out where the Rogue was rented pretty quickly after they identify it in the video. It's like something's weird about this.
Yeah.
Something's weird about it.
I assumed he used that rental car and whatever was going on
during
in
the
this
commission of whatever this thing is.
at the meetup spot. Right.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
Right. It's weird.
Yeah.
Do you think it's weird in the sense that
I think it's more incriminating. Right. It could lead that way. It doesn't mean it does, but that's a definite possibility. But it's kind of messy, right?
Well, it's easily sniffed out.
Right.
Obviously.
Why wouldn't you already have that car somewhere else, like placed somewhere?
Yes, Ruthie, the Nissan Rogue is 100% the rental. We heard about that earlier before you got in here. It was rented by Michelle Olivas, I think, or something like that, the night before, and she turned the keys over to Austin,
and she said she rented it for Austin.
Right.
All right, let's go back.
The apartment of Gio Thomas and Michelle Bellis to retrieve the
Bellis.
And the rental car, what type of rental car was it?
It was a Nissan Rogue.
Color?
It was a silver or light gray.
And what type license plate did it have?
It did have California tags on it.
And have you received information previously from a wildlife officer that they have seen that vehicle?
He is a state park ranger, Mr. Corey Hussey. He had seen a Nissan SUV along with the two victims' vehicles out on Carrington Road earlier that afternoon. And the distinguishing feature on that Nissan vehicle was it had California tags.
Okay. And you actually were able to determine that it was a rental vehicle.
The distinguishing feature was the California tags. Is that what you said? What about? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the dog is like here needing me. So I'm going to pull this up on YouTube and keep letting it play while I go figure out what he needs, scratching at me.
Correct. Whenever we ran the information on that last plate, we found that it was a rental for Enterprise rental car, and it had been picked up at the Enterprise location over in Jackson by the bowling alley.
Okay. And do you know who rented that vehicle, who picked it up?
Michelle Bellis had reserved that vehicle on the night of July 28th.
And you said that you had talked with Ms. Bellis?
We had.
Why did you rent that car?
She stated on the night of the 28th, Mr. Drummond, but she knew him as AD, came to her residence and asked her to rent him a vehicle. They picked up at noon the following day on the 29th.
And did he actually pick that vehicle up?
He didn't pick it up from Enterprise. He picked it up from her residence later on the 29th at approximately, she said, between 10 and 11 a.m.
Do you know if he was alone at the time he picked up the vehicle?
Ms. Ovellis and Mr. Thomas both told us that Mr. Brown, Mr. Tanaka Brown, was with him whenever he arrived and obtained the rental vehicle and left in it.
And about what time was it that he left? After he picked up the vehicle and left their residence?
She stated it was sometime between 10 and 11 a.m.
And that was in Jackson?
That was in Jackson on the 29th of July.
All right. We've heard evidence already about flock cameras and about looking for footage. Were you able to determine that vehicle actually did have a direction of travel after it picked up?
Correct. We had it on camera sometime after 11 o'clock, or we did find that it was on camera sometime after 11 o'clock leaving Jackson.
Okay. Which direction did it go?
It was headed north.
Okay. And once again, is the crime scene north of Jackson?
It is.
Okay. Did it eventually make its way to Dyersburg and then back to Lake County?
It did. It was recorded at the intersection over by Lowe's and Cracker Barrel in Dyersburg, heading towards Lake County, north towards Lake County.
And was the picture clear enough to see if it's clean, dirty, anything about it?
It was. It appeared to be a cleaner car.
Was it later seen coming back into Dyersburg?
It was.
And was there a difference in the car as far as the cleanliness of the car?
I do not recall if it was the camera there in Dyersburg or if it was a camera in Jackson, but it did appear to be dusty from the bed line of the doors, including the tires and rims.
Okay. The road out on Carrington Road, is it a paved road out to the area of the crime scene?
From what I would recall, when you first turn onto the road, it's semi-paved and turns into a gravel road.
Okay.
And the area where the crime scene actually is, where the cars and the bodies were, was a gravel parking lot.
Do you have to drive a good distance on that gravel portion of the drive?
You do.
Now, we reviewed video cameras previously of the Dodge Charger, the white Traverse, the red white pickup truck 4450. Was there also video that captured the Nissan Rogue in Tennessee?
I believe there was a video. I don't recall which establishment that video is from.
Okay. Once again, you did receive video images from Williams Garage.
Correct.
If you would, I'd like to show you a video.
I'm sorry, I missed it. She reserved the vehicle the night before and rented it the day of, or it was rented the night before, or it was reserved and rented the day of?
Night before.
Reserved the night before, picked up the morning of at 10 o'clock in the morning, or picked up at 10 o'clock at night?
It was, yeah, it was actually picked up on the 29th. So it was reserved on the 28th and then later picked up on the 29th. I didn't catch the time.
Okay. All right. Do you have the dog's harness up there? I can't find it.
No.
All right, let's go.
Does that appear to be the Nissan Rogue that had been rented?
Yes, it's a light silver, maybe a gray Rogue that looks to have a license plate on the front of it, unlike what Tennessee requires.
And that was going to be my next question. Does California require a license plate on the front and back?
They normally do, yes.
Okay. And did this vehicle have a California plate on the front and back?
Other images that I've seen of it did have a California plate on the front of it.
Thanks,
Just
RS.
disappears back.
Correct.
Or
And
AR.
that time, once again, is 1:08:52.
That's correct.
So this is probably maybe, what, an hour and a half from the time the vehicle was picked up in
Thanks,
Jackson?
pump it.
It was picked up somewhere after 11. It was leaving Jackson probably approximately 11:30 from what I recall. It'd probably be about an hour and a half or so, a little bit more than an hour.
More than an hour and a half from the time it left Jackson. So, okay. All right, and we'll show you one other video. And once you notice that time, 13:08. Do you recall the time that the vehicle was seen by the park ranger?
Whenever we first interviewed him, he believed that he saw it somewhere between 1 and 1:15.
That doesn't work.
Is that correct?
Correct.
I thought they were.
Does that appear to be the same vehicle going back towards Jackson?
It does.
So it was originally 1:08, it's now 1:33, so approximately 20 minutes or less. time that you've seen previously. Is that right?
Correct.
So that would be just about enough time to go over there, turn around, and come right back.
It would be.
Do you have information that at this time, the infant was still with Mr. Drummond in the vehicle?
Yes. Whenever Mr. Brown told us that he dropped whenever they arrived at the house of Obelis, or the residence of Obelis and Thomas, he stated that Mr. Drummond transferred not only the baby, but the cleaning supplies he had bought to the road and left the residence with it. So we had no other reason to think that the baby wasn't with him at this time, especially since it didn't get dropped off till after 3 p.m. in Dyer County.
Okay. So that was 1:40 when he was going back towards Dyersburg. And then, what, approximately an hour and 20 minutes later, when the 911 call comes in?
The 911, the Dyer County 911 call, yes, sir.
Okay. And this may be a silly question, but do you know if Mr. Drummond was the legal guardian of the child?
They're wrapping up
No,
with
he
this
wasn't the
guy.
legal guardian of the child.
Asking
he had
these
custody of the child, had permission to have the child?
No.
Now, you did.
So those questions were asked because of the abduction / kidnapping charge. Like, did he have permission? Was he, have custody of the child? The baby was dropped off in the Rogue. They did go over that earlier.
So the baby was taken out of the F-160
or F-150.
Yeah, whichever
whatever.
one it is. I've never heard of the F-160, but
Someone put it up there. I think it was a typo. Might have been F-150.
Yeah, so at some point the babies moved from the truck to the Rogue.
Yeah,
because the truck's brought
the guy
down.
that picked him up at Bikini Bottoms says he picked him and the baby up in their car and then drove him first to his house to get the Audi, as I call it, and then driven, eventually went to go drop the Audi off at the Cherry, whatever, which I think is the girlfriend's apartment or house. And then they went and picked up the rental car. So that's when the baby would have went in the rental car. Because remember, the truck that Austin drove to Bikini Bottoms was left there.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
Child had permission to have the child?
No.
Now, you did request cell phone data that we've heard from already, is that right?
Correct. We had started working with our, as soon as before we even set up our command post, we started contacting our agent, Andy Valley, who also works with FBI agent Carla Rexing, who also analyzes phones and the type of data that Agent White does. And he started submitting paperwork to AT&T and other companies for the victims' phones to start getting their data.
Okay. Were you able to determine where the phone came from?
The phone in question that Agent Scott was in. Dyer County Sheriff's Department had, whenever they gathered the video from Walmart night before on the 28th, they also got a receipt from Walmart showing that a purchase by the victims of the burlap, the camouflage burlap, or similar camouflage burlap that was at the crime scene, along with the cell phone.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They bought the cell phones and they bought the tarps they were buried under.
That's insane to me.
What are the tarps for? Maybe they use those camouflage tarps for droning. If it's big, are we talking about big amounts of what kind of drones are we speaking of?
I mean, drones are all about the same size,
I don't know if you can, maybe, I don't know, but they purchased what they were buried under and the phones.
That's fucking bizarre, man.
Yeah.
Camouflage burlap or similar camouflage burlap that was at the crime scene, along with the cell phone. Sorry, here.
You recognize that?
This is the receipt I've seen. Correct.
From the cell phone purchase?
Right.
And do you know who it was that purchased that cell phone?
At the time, I was told he was one of the victims. I believe, or I do recall that I've been told that Mr. Braydon Williams was actually seen on camera purchasing the phone.
Did you make that exhibit your testimony?
The 15-year-old.
Objection, Mr. Huffman. Show this mark. 6.
Are you thinking about how your story doesn't make a lot of sense?
That cell phone was used to call any family or friends of Austin Drummond.
Yes, that cell phone was used to call Geo Thomas, who in turn put Mr. Brown on the phone, on the three-way call that morning.
Did you interview Mr. Geo Thomas?
We did.
Did he admit to you that he did have that three-way call and was part of the conversation about picking up Mr. Drummond?
That's correct.
And that was picking him up from Bikini Bottoms?
Right.
Now, I've shown you videos. We've also had the cell phone data. Have you reviewed both of those prior to today? Have you looked at those, looked at that data?
I have some of it, correct.
Okay. Would it be accurate to say that the cell phone data, the timing on the cell phone data and the timing on the videos match?
From the evidence I've seen that's been collected and presented during the investigation, yes, it did match.
When were you able to take Austin Drummond into custody?
He was taken into custody on, it would have been that Tuesday after, I believe it was August 6th, 2025.
So a week later?
Correct.
After being taken into custody, are you aware of any statements that Mr. Austin Drummond has made while being incarcerated?
I've been listening to his phone calls, correct?
Did he give an interview with a reporter in Nashville?
Yes, he did.
And in that interview, did he admit that he was at the scene at the time of the murders?
He did.
Did he also admit that he had dropped a child off on the side of the road at Dyer County?
I don't recall that part.
Didn't.
Are you aware of the fact that Austin Drummond has previous felony convictions?
He does.
How's that relevant?
Yes.
And I'll pass it with you.
Yes. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Agent Tubbs. A few questions. Would it be fair to say that you were lead agent on this case?
I'm the case agent, correct?
So you pretty much have seen most of the information as it comes in. For instance, medical examiner's report. You have preliminary reports, right?
I had a preliminary phone call. I haven't received a report yet.
So that is still in process, correct?
Correct.
Now, you said you called the violent crime scene, I guess, investigative team. What was the name of that team?
The violent crime response team is essentially our crime scene unit.
Okay. And they were the ones who processed the scene?
Correct.
Did you have any involvement in processing the scene?
I did not.
All right. Do you recall how many were any shell cases recovered?
There was.
Do you recall how many?
I did not. I was not told the number.
Do you know what type of cases were recovered?
So this is an area where people go out and target practice, from what I was told. I'm not from Lake County. There were a few different kinds of calibers out there. The violent crime response team leader, he's Special Agent Forensic Scientist Julian Conyers. I had a conversation with him. He said the majority of the cartridge casings that was around the White Road were 45 caliber.
But there were multiple shell casings, multiple types of shell casings.
Multiple calibers of shell casings, correct? Cartridge casings.
Now, did you process the scene at all yourself?
I did not. We stepped back and called them.
Do they take photos, that sort of thing?
They take photos, they take measurements, they collect evidence, the whole range.
Video thing?
They usually do. I'm not sure on this one. So whenever they finish processing and they do all
Rewind
their
that.
evidence, all that, they
Did he
will,
say he said there were
create what they call
45
a crime scene
calibers? Did
investigation.
he say there were multiple caliber shell casings found? Like there were multiple
Yeah,
weapons
but he's
used?
trying to say that this is an area where a lot of people go to shoot guns off, but most of the calibers found in the area of this was 45. So he's trying to blame it on those shell casings could have come from anywhere.
It's an off-road park. Like
Right.
it doesn't strike me as like, but I mean, I don't know shit. Can anybody?
He
does
said,
it-
I'm not from this area, but I've been told that
All right,
it's an
well,
area.
then he doesn't mean shit. We got people from the area in the chat. Has anybody been to Bikini Bottoms Off-Road Park? And
No. Don't. This is at the end of Covington Road. This is the crime scene.
wait, I thought the crime scene was where was
No, that's the park down Covington Road is where the bodies were found. The car was then driven to Bikini Bottoms and pushed down a ravine or something. And that's where Austin Drummond was picked up, him and the baby, the Bikini Bottoms.
because I've got the map up
The
here.
video that we watched earlier is Covington Road. Is it Carrington, Covington? Am I saying it? Carrington Road? Thanks.
Okay. I'm adding that to the map.
All right.
Okay.
So Carrington Road was that video that we watched. It starts out as a paved road, turns into a gravel road, and where it dead ends, there's like a parking lot. And that's where the cars were found, and then the bodies were pulled, into the woods a little bit. And he's saying that most of the caliber was 45s, but there were others. But as far as he's been told, because he doesn't know, people go there and. Okay, so there you go. This person says, bump it. Cody says, yes, I have. Carrington Road is basically a shooting range at the end.
Okay, so that's got some
And
validity to
ARs or ARIS or RS, I don't know, says it's a nature area, state owned, which is why it's, paroled by rangers, park rangers.
Okay.
And Carolyn K says it's a known target practice spot.
Okay.
All right.
So there, now it's valid.
Yes. Thank you, chat.
Thank you, chat.
Report with the photos and everything, that's all that.
Loop back.
They will create what they call a crime scene investigation report with the photos and everything. That's still in the process.
That's not completed.
Last I checked this week, it was not completed yet.
Typically, you guys just don't carry body cameras like that. If you have a body camera.
ARIS. Rs. ARIS.
Regarding the video with time delta, how did you determine that it was 53 minutes low? How did you determine that?
Whenever I was talking with Chief England, I asked him what the time was when he was looking at live on the video camera. Because he went back to the fire department.
Carrington Road.
to
Carrington
see
Road. I
how
got
the
it.
car was behind, or if he could get any more video of any of the victims' vehicles, any other vehicles that might be suspicious. And I asked him to look at what the real time was in the live video versus what the like what was on the watch. And he found that it was 53 minutes behind.
During the course of your investigation, were you able to gather any evidence as to why these victims were on the scene?
During interviews, yes, we were told by family a possibility about why they were out on the scene. The introduction of contraband into the Northwest Correctional Facility.
Were you able to obtain any evidence regarding that?
Regarding them being part of it?
Well, you said that the potential introduction of contraband in Northwest. Was there any?
Wow. The family told them that they were involved in bringing contraband into the prison. So there's your confirmation on that point.
Yep.
Loop backwards.
Part of it.
Well, you said that the potential introduction of contraband in Northwest. Was there any contraband found on scene?
No, there wasn't any scene that I'm aware of. I have not been told by the body crime response team what was in the car, but that has not come up in our discussions.
Yes, sir.
Welcome, Carla, Maria. Bob's going to give you a family hug.
Aw, family hug.
Can you read right journal?
One thing that I built it includes the actual videos. I played those. Make that give you this one.
Oh, would.
That's probably it.
As you told, you may have a seat. Please go whichever you choose to do. Thank you, sir. And next witness.
And the only other proof we have is we do have certified copies of the verification of death for each of them.
No objection. Show the CD being in the video of the point as State Exhibit 7, and then this being on as State Exhibit 7. All right, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm right. That concludes the state's proof. Then we should be heard on argument.
Yes.
All right. So if you zoned out at all during this, now they're going to argue their points. So you're going to get basically a summary of everything the state says establishes probable cause for these offenses charged.
You've heard all the proof in this case. There's a real tight timeline with this case, and we think that we can show that. We think we've shown that today with cell phone data and as well as video footage. But just to go back through that, and just to go back through this timeline, I want to go back and highlight this thing. At 6:27 a.m., the Dodge Charger and the Chevrolet Traverse are going north towards the crime scene on the fire department camera in Tiptonville. At 6:38, there's an outgoing call from the phone, and when I talk about the phone, it's going to be the phone in question that was purchased the night before. There's an outgoing call from that phone to Adrianna. At 6:47 a.m., the truck driven by Matthew Wilson, the red and white vehicle, comes into Tiptonville, is northbound, goes towards the crime scene. At 6:45 a.m., 6:54 a.m., there's the first time advance bar on the cell phone, and that is near Tiptonville. At 7:01 a.m., there's an outgoing call to Adrianna once again. That's the last call to Adrianna. It lasted 32 seconds.
Which one? What time was that, General?
That was 7:01 a.m. At 7:25 a.m., red and white vehicle is seen traveling southbound on the video in Tiptonville, going past Williams Garage, the Mexican restaurant. And at that same time, a call starts at 7:25. It lasts until 7:29. That's a three-way call from that phone in question to Giovanni Thomas and Tanaka Brown. Both of those individuals did admit in their testimony today that they were on the phone with Austin Drummond at that time. 7:26 a.m. Time advance data shows that that phone is now moving south. At 7:44, let me back up. Between 7:25 and 10:06 a.m., there are approximately 15 calls between that phone number and Giovanni Thomas. At 7:44 a.m. and up until 9:04 a.m. So almost a 2-hour period, a little short of, not 2 hours, almost an hour, a little over 45, 50 minutes. It shows that the phone is actually at Bikini Bottoms in Dyer County, and it's stationary. It's sitting there. From 9:17 to 10:04, the time advance showed that there was southbound movement once again. This time it's going towards Jackson. And this is at the time that testimony was that Tanaka Brown had drove from Jackson to Bikini Bottoms to help push the red and white vehicle into the ravine, pick up Austin Drummond and the child, and drive them back to Jackson. He drove them to the Clairton Inn to pick up the Audi. He then went to pick up a vehicle from Gio and Michelle, and that was a rental vehicle. He had the baby with us this entire time. At the time of 11:55 until 12:07 p.m., we now have a different vehicle, and we have the Nissan Rogue with a California license plate that is traveling northbound towards Bells. At 12:39 p.m., that vehicle is seen by license plate readers going from Dyersburg, still traveling north. Between 1:04 and 1:14, it is the approximate time that the cell phone that's been in question the entire time is back at the crime scene. The phone was initially at the crime scene. It left.
So now let's say that there was just, you escaped a murder at this crime scene, right? Are you going back when you're not sure if the people are still there?
I mean, why would they still be there?
I don't know. I'm just saying, are you going back?
I mean, if I didn't do it and my fucking prints and DNA are all over the place, maybe. If I'm like, if somebody else did it, I have more of an incentive to go back and fucking get rid of my shit so I'm not the patsy if somebody else did this shit than I would if I was the person who did it, then going back. You know, because I think if somebody else did it, like you said, if we speculate and say, all right, somebody caught wind, Drummond's been made, they know that they're gonna have fucking a bunch of shit out there, whatever they were muling in, and they're getting bum rushed. Either they're coming to kill Drummond because he's a fucking rat, or they're coming to rob the drug dealers. You know, the
Right.
people with the drugs. I mean, it happens all the time. So
Because you would
I mean,
think,
they're not going to still be there hours and hours later. They're
right,
fucking gone.
right.
So
Because
I'm
you
not
would
worried
think
about that.
if he didn't have to pull out quickly, right, he would have taken all the, if there was contraband money or drugs, he would have taken his time to get that. I mean, it's 10 minutes unless there's more. Maybe that's just the traveling time. But they've got him back at the crime scene for that period of time.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
All right, let's go.
It is the approximate time that the cell phone that's been in question the entire time is back at the crime scene. The phone was initially at the crime scene. It left the crime scene. It made phone calls, which witnesses say were made to Austin Drummond. It went to Bikini Bottoms. It went to Jackson. It got the rental car, and now it is back at the crime scene once again. This is between 104 and 114. At 115, your testimony from the park ranger stated that there was a black Charger, a white Traverse, and a Nissan Rogue with California license plate. He said it left quickly as soon as he passed the vehicle. Between 1:38 and 2:14 p.m., time advance data shows movement going southbound once again from the crime scene back towards Jackson.
I want to point out the other thing that park ranger said was that the trunk was up on the black Charger when he drove by the first time and then down. So he went to get something out of that trunk.
Yeah. Why does he get taken back to his car?
What do you mean?
The Audi. Like why? Like, so the Audi's at his parents' house in Jackson, right?
I don't remember it. No, it was at his place and then he dropped it off. I thought at what's her name's at Caitlin's, but I'm not sure. I thought it was like the red cherry, black cherry. I don't know where my notes on that went.
So the Rogue was picked up in Jackson. And Jackson's fucking way out of the way. I'm going to pull this map up when this is done. Like this is a lot of driving between Tiptonville and where Northwest Correctional is, which is pretty damn close to the crime scene. And then, Bikini Bottoms is south, and then Tigrit, and then Carrington Road and Jackson. I mean, there's like the total from everything that I put in the map in terms of all the locations is 205 miles.
Wow.
Yeah, like this is not like driving from one little area to another. This is like us driving to Davenport type shit.
Right. All right, let's see.
Or Indy.
Shows movement going southbound once again from the crime scene back towards Jackson, Dyer County in Jackson. At 2:15 p.m., the rental vehicle is southbound according to license plate readers. Between 2:32 and 2:35, it's in the area where the baby was initially dropped from Friendship. At 2:55, the time advance showed that the cell phone and vehicle was northbound towards Dyersburg. And just a few minutes later, 3:11 p.m., the 911 call came in. The baby had been dropped. Keep in mind, Mr. Drummond admitted that he dropped the baby.
No, that's not true. We saw the presser. They said the news report, and they said they asked him about the baby, and he wouldn't talk about it. And when he asked the witness, did he admit to dropping off the baby? He said, not that I know of. So, but whatever.
Between 2:57 and 3:23 p.m., the time advance showed that the vehicle was traveling southeast, back towards Bells, and back towards Jackson, was back in Jackson by 3:39 p.m. Between 4:22 and 6:06, and this is really important.
Is that his
There were
parents?
overlapping arcs. And you heard the testimony was that when there's overlapping arcs, you can almost pinpoint where the person is. And those arcs overlapped right above Austin Drummond's parents' house. And it stayed there for an hour and a half. From 6:34 to 8:44 p.m., it was back to Clarion Hotel, and then at Captain Speed's residence, who was Mr. Drummond's girlfriend. At 8:17, 911 calls come in about the body being found, and at 8:44, the phone was no longer on network. Your Honor, that is a very tight timeline. The testimony shows that Austin Drummond was at the scene. He admits he was at the scene. He was the person who got the rental vehicle. He's the only person who was in that Nissan Rogue, which video shows went back to the crime scene, was there just a very few minutes and left the crime scene. And that phone and video synced up all the way through from Jackson to the crime scene and back to Jackson. And there's no other person possible that could have been other than Austin Drummond. Your Honor, based on that, we think that we've proven the aggravated kidnapping. He took the child without consent. He's not his child. He did not have custody. He was not the guardian. He is a convicted felon. Testimony was these individuals were shot, which means that a weapon was involved. He admits to being on the scene. All 4 individuals are deceased. We think that meets the probable cause for first-degree murder and the possession of a weapon during commission of that felony.
Mr. Huffman.
So I just want to comment here. There was a lot of talk at some point about weapons found on his person when they found him and tying the weapons to the offense and da-da-da-da-da. You heard none of that here. We would have heard that here if that was the fact, if that was the case.
Well,
So-
you know, like the gaping hole is obviously they haven't found the weapon that was used, and they didn't find it on him when they capture him. You know, which isn't shocking. I mean, if he used it, he probably would have ditched the weapon at some point somewhere. But so, I mean, if I'm defense counsel, I'm just going up and doing this.
Everything that guy just says is bullshit.
Let's go.
All right. Sorry, Scarlett's talking to me. All right. And okay.
Yes, sir.
Understanding this is what they're hearing and that the burden of proof is probable cause and not the unreasonable doubt, obviously. There's been no evidence whatsoever that Mr. Drummond fired any weapon. The only evidence that was presented today was that there was a cell phone purchased by one of the victims at the scene and proof that he was present on scene, but no proof that there was anybody else on scene, or even that the cell phone was in his hands when he was on scene. The only thing that probable cause was met was that his presence on scene. There was no evidence whatsoever regarding who fired these shots, if Mr. Drummond fired shots, or if there are other individuals on the scene. So we do not believe that the state is not probable cause regarding the murders. Obviously, there's some evidence regarding Mr. Drummond's having a child, so we would submit that to the court as to determination of probable cause hearing. Again, the only thing that the state has shown ostensibly is his presence on the scene and afterwards. There's been no evidence whatsoever that Mr. Drummond fired any shots.
So they basically concede that there's enough evidence here on the kidnapping because exactly what he showed. And then I said, like, what's the point of saying he's a felon? I forgot one of the charges was a felon in possession of a firearm committed, you know, in the commission of an offense. All right, let's see if there's any more that the prosecution has to say.
Joe. In regards to the motion filed by the state, do we need to have a hearing at this time regarding that? Okay. What I'm going to do is this. If everybody doesn't mind for a moment, I'm going to take a very brief recess. Okay. So if anyone needs to use the restroom, I would tell you to take.
All right. Okay, and the judge is back.
In regards to the motion, then do we need to proceed on that, or are we?
I think we're going to be in agreement on the motion. This is a motion for a gag order, and there's going to be an agreement. And the state, specifically the attorneys representing the state of Tennessee as a defendant, as well as the defendant herself. Witnesses or investigators are prohibited from posting on social media or providing additional media and or social media accounts of the case, statements concerning or alleging the facts of the case. Your Honor, and doesn't prevent anything with media other than if the facts of the case cannot be discussed. That includes the.
Is that it?
Yes, sir. It does contain the
Yes, there was a case that, and I appreciate the state providing the site to that case. It was a very, it was a good opinion on what to do and what not to do in this type of situation. I appreciate both parties' cooperation in regarding this. And I'll say this, after reviewing the motion and the case, I think not only to ensure the state's right to a fair trial, but Mr. Drummond also to ensure your right to a fair trial as well. I want to make sure that the parameters are put in place, because I know the media since 2000, I appreciate our media that are here. I want to just echo that again. I appreciate our media that is here. The media since 2000 has grown tremendously since that case was first decided. Things are a lot far different than it was a quarter of a century ago. So I think that, you know, we get our news now from not only our television and our newspapers, but from our telephones. If y'all are like me, it's a habit. So I will enter this order at this time. Today's date is the 4th of September. I need a pen that works, though. I sure do. Miss Jessica, do you mind if I borrow it? Thank you so much. Is there any other matters we need to take up regarding the preliminary hearing?
No,
Aside from me ruling, I'm assuming. So, okay. 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 I want to thank, before I make my ruling in this, I want to thank the attorneys today. I want to thank all of you for your devotion to this case and your work you've shown in this case here today. Appreciate the state and also the defense attorneys. I know that I appreciate Mr. Huffman taking this case and Mr. Mason. I know this was something you were appointed to, but I appreciate your graciousness in taking this matter on. I do very much, and I appreciate all the parties for their testimony. I appreciate the witnesses that are here today. I want to speak to the family today. I know you heard a lot of things today, things that were not pleasant to hear, but I appreciate the fact that for the most part, your candor has been respectful to this court. And I appreciate that you've shown this court respect. I don't want that to go unnoticed. To all of you, I want to say this. I know that at this time, this is not the trial today. This is only the first step in that next proceeding. The standard you heard that was presented is a probable cause standard, which means it's more likely than not. I am not making a finding of guilt or innocence today. That is not what is happening. I don't want y'all to leave and think, what did he just do? So I want you to understand that. It is still alleged as to who committed this offense, but I know it's not alleged that the loss that y'all have suffered. And I want you to know that my heart does go out to all of you. And in the days, weeks, months, and years to come, you will be in my prayers, because I know it's a long road to that. I want to thank, I don't want it to go unnoticed, but I just want to thank you for your respect you've shown the court very much. In regards to the matters today, the court has heard the testimony from all the parties, and in consideration of that testimony, in case number 25 CR 48067, the charge of first-degree murder, the court does find the probable cause regarding the murder of Mr. Braydon Williams. In case number 48068, the charge of first-degree murder, the court does find probable cause in regards to the murder of Ms. Adrianna Williams. In case number 48069, the court does find probable cause in regards to first-degree murder in the matter of Mr. Matthew Wilson. And in case number 48070, the court does find probable cause into the case of the first-degree murder of Ms. Cortney Rose. The court also does find probable cause in case number 48071 as to the charge of aggravated kidnapping of the young child and the possession of a firearm with the intent to go armed as a commission of a dangerous felony. Aside from the proof of the agent Tubbs, there was not any other proof put forward to show whether or not he is a convicted felon. So based on that, I'm not binding those matters over counts 2 on 48067, 68, 69, and 70. But those are the only charges that will not be bound over. The remaining charges will be bound over. The 4 first-degree murders, the aggravated kidnapping, and the possession of a firearm with the intention to go armed during the commission of a dangerous felony. In regards to Mr. Drummond, I want to make you aware this is your notice for your circuit court date. Should your cases be presented to the grand jury on November 10th of 2025 at 9 a.m., you will appear before the Honorable Mark Hayes, the circuit judge for Lake County, Tennessee, on November 17th, 2025 at 1 p.m. Now, before we conclude that, I had heard that there may be another matter that needs to be addressed.
That's right, Judge. We were here previously, the defendant's girlfriend, Ms. Kate Steve, had requested, I indicated that she requested to have no contact order with us, so she could communicate with Mr. Drummond. The media seems to spin my words. Mr. Drummond did not request this be lifted. She requested it. So she's actually reached out to the district attorney, who's not in agreement, but she has indicated to the district attorney that she would like that portion to be lifted so that she can have communication with Mr. Drummond again. Previously, that was stated in the news reports that Mr. Drummond has that. That's not the case. Kate Speed was the one who reached out and wanted to have communication with Mr. Drummond. So we would respectfully ask for that portion of the no contact order be lifted as it relates to Ms. Kate Speed.
Let me hear from you, Mr. Goodman.
Yeah, Ms. Kate Speed did contact me. I talked to her about this. She did ask me to allow contact.
So allow contact. It's recorded.
I told her that I would be honest and tell court that's what her wishes are, but I also told her that I would be opposed to this. I would be opposed to her restraining order being lifted. And Your Honor, the fact is that she is a witness in this case, and there's not need to be any communication between the defendant and a witness. And in addition to that, she's also a member of the family of the victims, and we're concerned that there may be an issue there. The restraining order is for all family members of victims, so we would ask that the restraining order stay in place.
She is a mother of this unborn child. I understand that she's been a witness. He can't discuss facts of the case, but we would respectfully ask that it be listened so he can communicate regarding that portion. she's pregnant with a child. I'm sure they want to discuss family matters.
Now, the problem with that is, there's no way for us to police that. There's no way to say, okay, well, if you can talk to her about these issues, you can't talk about the others. It's not like we're gonna be there to monitor the situation and say, oh, okay, stop talking, can't talk about that.
But you'll be listening.
There just needs to be a restraining order that prevents all communication.
It's stupid.
What the fuck is he
They're
talking about?
listening to every phone call he makes.
Right,
They can
thank
listen,
you.
monitor in real time the discussions, so they will know what they're talking about. And obviously, if you cross that line and discuss this factual case, that's an issue.
Then they
That can be controlled, or he's limited in scope. So they are listening. They know what he's saying to them. I'm not sure how that would be inappropriate.
All right, so just so everybody knows, Austin's girlfriend, who's also the family member, that's the Caitlin Speed, has asked that the no contact order be lifted so that she can have contact and talk to Austin Drummond. That kind of says a lot. Like,
Does.
she still wants to communicate with him, you know? And the state's saying, no, she's a witness, so he shouldn't have contact. And obviously heard the defense saying, look, let him talk about family stuff, baby stuff, not the facts of the case. They'll be listening. If they talk about the facts of the case, then boom, you can say, all right, you overstepped. You talked about the facts, and it can be used against him. I'm just surprised they don't want them to have contact. Like, you're going to be listening, you know? So let's see what the judge, look at his face. He's like, oh.
I think that
you should let them
the
talk.
issue at hand is not whether or not it would be appropriate. I think the thing I have to consider in this is that, based on the testimony I've heard here today, it is very likely that she is going to be a witness possibly in this case. That's what I've gathered from the testimony I've heard here today. I am not restricting any conversations between him and his family. If she wants to communicate with his family to give him messages regarding their child, I am fine with that. But because of the fact that there may be an instance where Ms. Speed has to testify at the trial, that's the only thing that kind of puts me in a position to not feel comfortable amending the order at this time for that purpose. So what I will do is I'll continue to let it remain in place directly between the two of them. However, he is completely allowed to speak with his family and his mother or father or whoever it is that wishes to talk maybe through her to him regarding the status of his child. If it were to be the case that she would not be a witness at a later date, I'm not saying that's not, well, I'm losing jurisdiction of this today. So that's something that if you want to discuss with Judge Hayes, I'm sure he, I'm not going to speak for him, but you could have the right to revisit that at that time. So I'm going to leave.
Just to clarify, if you want to get third-party contact, you're saying you may have third-party contact as it relates only to family matters. I know what you're going to say is that you can get police that.
I want to clarify that as well, because I thought what you meant was he could talk to his family, then his family could talk to her, not that they could be on three-way call.
Absolutely not. Yes. Yes. Yes.
That's what I understood.
That is
and
my.
that has been an issue, and I want to clarify also, make sure the defendant understands that third-party conversations are a violation as well. He can't tell someone, go tell this witness that I said this. That's a violation.
He needs to be aware of that, and it appears that based on testimony today, it should be aware that his phone calls are being monitored. So obviously, does the state oppose him talking to his family? It's not his family. It's just them attempting to relay messages concerning the case to Ms. Speed. So does that make any sense at all?
Yes, not related messages regarding the case, but I'm assuming it's okay with related messages regarding his child.
I don't mind that. I mean, that's something regarding his child, but it can't be anything regarding the case or the facts of the case. And I would just say that those are being monitored, those phone calls are being monitored. So that's just something he'll need to understand for that purpose. Okay. So it'll remain in place for that. Folks, this is what I want to do before we do anything else. Having found that these matters are going to be presented to the grand jury and the cases will be sent to circuit court, or should he be indicted, what I'm going to ask is that at this time, if the sheriff's department will take him back into custody and transport him back, he will continue to remain without bond in this case. And while they are doing that, I'm going to ask everyone to please remain in the courtroom.
Well, why are they having to bind him over to a grand jury when he's been bound over by way of information?
Before we are adjourned, folks, I want to again thank our law enforcement that are here today. I want to thank all of our law enforcement for the efforts they put into this case and protecting the courtroom. And to the families, again, good luck to each of you in the days to come. With that, folks, we're adjourned.
You're muted.
I don't know if it's something different about Tennessee procedure, and I looked at the criminal rules, but I didn't really look at that. But there were charges for felon in possession of a firearm or a weapon or something that he didn't bind over. He said that the only evidence of a felony, that he was a felon, was this guy's testimony that he's a felon.
Okay.
So it could be that, because otherwise I don't know why they would ever go to a grand jury after he's been indicted. Now, I was trying to see if there was any questions in the
All
supers.
right.
No.
So before we dip real quick, I think we got to everything. I just to give you guys an idea, this is kind of the area, like every spot that was hit. So that the little red guy up here, this is where the prison is. Okay. So there's Northwest Correctional. Tiptonville, this is where the crime scene was. I think. No, that was Carrington Road.
Carrington Road, yeah.
So Carrington Road, let's see.
It's in Tiptonville, I think, but
yeah, it's like I don't know if it is actually. Let's see, because I put them all in. Let's see, when you get down here, I mean, it's fucking like way everything's. This is Bikini Bottoms Off-Road Park. And then, I mean, you've got, I think this is where.
Wow, Carrington Road. So I'm looking at it. It's right off of
fucking.
It's right off of 78, and it's like there's no other roads that connect to it. You know, it's
right.
just
This
like
is it right here. This is Carrington Road. So it's way, way far away from Tiptonville and the jail and the prison, which is up here. And then this is where the truck is dumped. This is where he picked up Jackson's, where he picked up the rental, which is way over here. Tigrit, this is where some of the video was taken. This is Dyersburg here. I mean, it's just a huge area.
Cast Iron Mamas say no, it's directly south of prison, and I thought it was closer to the prison. So I don't know.
What's directly south? I mean, this is Google Maps. What's
well, maybe you've got the
south?
wrong prison. Was it the?
It's Northwest Correctional. That's what that is.
All right, Mary Lynch RN says, where can I send you a case to get your take? Honest, by the book, law enforcement railroaded and unjustly convicted due to corrupt politician in Massachusetts. Would love to hear your take. A true crime pod at gmail.com. A true crime pod at gmail.com.
Yeah, so that's the prison there.
And then someone it says, sounds like you found the wrong Carrington Road. Put in 680 Carrington Road, Tiptonville.
Okay.
And then Cast Iron Mama said something about 212 Carrington Road.
In Tiptonville?
She said, yeah, in Tiptonville. 680 Carrington Road, Tiptonville.
Okay, so let's see. Oh, yeah. It is way closer. So, yeah, that's a different. All right, so, yeah. They're right. It's fucking like right there.
Yeah.
So crime scene here, prison here. So yeah, that's definitely drone range there for sure. Wow.
All right.
Just a lot of moving parts.
So the burden for probable cause is that the state needs to establish. It is more, obviously they've established that a crime was committed, but it is more likely than not that it was committed by this defendant. So maybe we take a poll or just read the chat. Do you guys think that, and it's just probable cause, that the state put on enough to show it's more likely than not that Austin Drummond committed the murders?
Right. I mean, which is a low, it has nothing to do with innocence or guilt at this point. It's enough to bind them over for trial. It's enough to get to them, the state, to get to the next step. That's it.
A reasonable belief that a crime was committed and a reasonable belief that it was committed by the person.
This trial is going to be a fucking thing. Like, depending on, so it gets interesting because his attorney was appointed. Okay. We know that. We heard that in the hearing here. And, however, this concept of him being an asset for the government, how that plays into it in terms of what they're going to craft for a defense is fascinating. It's fascinating. So, but we're a long way off unless he has a speedy demand. We're a long way off from trial. That's for sure. So, but we'll keep following it for sure. It's definitely on the radar. So, babe, we don't have to leave until like early evening tomorrow. I'm thinking tomorrow we do early afternoon. We will do the motion to dismiss in Aaron Spencer, which is another case that we're covering very, very closely. And that thing is out there hanging in the ether. And that's a case, if you don't know anything about it, you should come check it out. It's one of those cases where, some people misconstrue it as a vigilante case, but it's not at all. But it's a really interesting case, and it's a case that deserves a lot of sunlight. And it's a case that Allie and I are going to be digging into, boots on the ground style. So, all right, is that it, babe? Are we done?
Yeah, I think we're done. If you got through all the questions.
I think so. I think I put them all up. Gave all the love.
All right.
Juliet said we need a Giorgio Kappelman flow chart, Bob, and Allie, get on that. I actually had the robot put together a pretty good timeline for me, but it didn't include like the later afternoon shit, like all the moving parts. It kind of just throws in at 3:11 the baby was found in Tigrit, infant and safe, and then hours earlier 4 victims shot under tarps near Carrington Road, which is actually burlap. I don't consider those the same thing as tarps. Burlap is a very specific kind of wheat woven fabric type shit. It's what you use for potato sack races, burlap sacks. It's what Dr. Evil was tortured by his parents. Well, specifically his father. So you gave Mary the email address. Cody, last shot here, says going to Braves game tomorrow. All right, have fun with that. From Tennessee to Atlanta for your birthday. Oh, happy birthday, Cody. Happy birthday. If you come to the live tomorrow, even if you're not here, I'll probably sing you happy birthday, and then you can watch it on replay. I'm not going to sing it the day before. What we will say, happy day before your birthday day. That's what we say here at the Mod Clan. So, all right, y'all. We love you, mods. Thank you so much. We love you guys. We adore you. We thank you. Skybell, family hug. Thank you for becoming a new member. We appreciate that so much. Remember, please like, share, subscribe. If you're a replay crew, please leave a comment. Get a chat going. Talk in there. There's plenty to talk about with this case. When you do that, the YouTube sees that there's a lot of action going on, and it'll throw it out into the algo. And then people will be like, oh, they're talking about
yes,
this.
And get your friends, neighbors, and anyone that pops over your house. Just take their phone, be like, hey, can I see your phone real quick? And subscribe to our channel. We just why do we still only have like 57,000? I need more. More.
We do.
Love you guys. Thank you all for being here. Sorry about
Love
yesterday.
I think you made up for it, babe. Without y'all, I'm just an old man
sitting around talking to his wife.
Boop.